you just flipped me off.
No.
Yes, you did. You just flipped me the bird. Now, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't shape up, okay, and get your head straight, there, you just flipped me off again.
107.5, The Game.
Well, welcome in on a game day. How about that? It's game day. That's right.
South Carolina State.
We get you up, get you going
this morning. We got lots
to do. You know, our usual Thursday show, but this time we do it with the idea that tonight South Carolina will have a football game. It's going to be kind of fun. A little bit of a throwback. It's been a while since we've had a Thursday night game. You can actually go back to the opening game of the Will Muschamp era, if you want to be exact, for a Thursday night game. That was a 13-10 victory over Vanderbilt up in Nashville. So if you remember that one, 13-10. That one. Then the year before, 2015, there was a Thursday night game against North Carolina in Charlotte. And then I got to admit, prior to that, I got to go back. It was 2014 was the last time we had and that didn't go well. 2014 was the last time that we had a Thursday night game at Williams-Brice Stadium. So we'll get you up, get you going this morning. As it is game day, I'm sure some of you are adjusting your plans accordingly. Maybe a little bit of work today, maybe a little bit of work all day, and then we'll kind of get ready. Hurricane Ian continues to bear down on both the portions of Florida as it has now made landfall. I got to admit, I've not had a chance this morning to look at the overnight kind of what may have transpired there. I don't know where things stand. I'll actually get the Weather Channel up and going here in the studio within the next break so that I can just kind of keep an eye on that. But certainly here, the wind is picking up pretty dramatically. It's a little bit chillier. I was out at a Gilbert Middle School football game last night watching my daughter cheer, and the wind was pretty good out there. It was getting a little bit chillier. I would say we bypassed the nice evenings of fall and went directly toward the fringes of winter last night. Although, as Jen will tell you, I'm very cold-natured and basically start a small bonfire in this studio each and every morning, especially during the winter. So during the winter, Jen has seen me like I've smoked Jen out of the producer room because we think our heating and air units are connected, and I have a tendency to come in here and turn the heat way up, and the next thing I know, I've put Jen in a bit of a sauna.
Yep, it's we'll still have to wrestle about that, to see if we can find that happy medium, because with you having all the windows, it's definitely cooler in there, and it's easier to layer up than layer down. But it's not ideal. But I know you are a little chilly. We need to get you some warm coffee each morning, maybe some mittens.
Yeah, I trust me. There is nobody that. One thing that I'm learning with the development of age is I handle cold weather worse and worse and worse each and every year, and I have a feeling we're going to reach record highs of frustration and just overall unhappiness with the cold this year. But that's all right. Tonight should be pretty interesting. Williams-Brice Stadium, 7:00, South Carolina and South Carolina State. Gamecocks a big favorite, as you would expect. No real reason they shouldn't be. No real reason they shouldn't roll to a victory tonight. But the question will be more of what do you see from South Carolina, and what do you want to see? Because those are going to be two entirely different, I think, questions and answers this morning. I've kind of moved myself back into, because of the week, because of the injuries to South Carolina, because of the short week and because of the injuries, I've kind of moved myself back into the camp that this game is going to be a little bit of a slog for South Carolina. The point spread is around, it's bouncing between 39.5 and 37.5. FanDuel and Caesar Sportsbook have it at 39.5. WinBet Sportsbook has it at 37.5 for tonight. My personal opinion on this game is that South Carolina will play they'll look to get an early lead. kind of be in command and then rotate a lot of players, run the football. It's expected to be very windy at Williams-Brice Stadium tonight. So you would assume, again, there's a lot of times we assume, and it turns out to not be true, but you would assume that that would lend itself to South Carolina being even more likely to keep the football on the ground and not have Spencer Rattler throwing it all through the air on a night that, again, is expected. The wind is only expected to increase as we go through the evening. So we'll see what happens there. But I've got South Carolina winning this, again, somewhere in the vicinity of 38-14, 42-14. I think there is a lot of respect by Shane Beamer for Buddy Pugh. And I don't think he's going to go out and necessarily try to do anything to embarrass the Bulldogs. So I think South Carolina goes into this game. I think, and this is what I'm kind of interested to see tonight. I know it's an FCS opponent, but I think you're starting to see the offensive line at least become a little bit more physical at the point of attack. You know, this was a team that against Georgia State just flat out couldn't push anybody around. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. And then, you know, at least last week against Charlotte, one of the worst, if not the worst defense in college football, South Carolina was at least able to open holes for a run game that went for 295 yards. That doesn't mean that the offensive line all of a sudden became, you know, the road pavers out there and that they're ready to go and take on the elite of the SEC. But I do think that they're slowly making strides, and that tonight is kind of what I look for on the ground. How this group pass protects, I still think leaves a lot to be desired. But tonight, I look for them on the ground to open up some holes, to get Marshawn Lloyd going, maybe one long touchdown run from him, maybe a big night from Juju McDowell. Much like Jaheim Bell, South Carolina needs to get Juju McDowell going. They need him to start showing some of the shiftiness and the playmaking ability that we know he has. And tonight would be a good night to do that with Kentucky on deck. And then South Carolina will get that extra 48 hours of rest before the Wildcats get set to host them next Saturday. So if you want to weigh in with your thoughts and ideas on what you want to see, but also what you again, there's a difference between what you want to see and then what you think you'll see. Like I would like to see, yes, nothing against Buddy Pugh and South Carolina State. I'd like to see South Carolina go out and win 45, 52, 59, nothing, something in that ballpark, and just be completely dominant. Just game be over by halftime. The stadium started to clear out. We all started to get home to make sure we're nice and safe for whatever the weather is coming for us tomorrow. Yeah, that's what I would like to see. That's not what I expect to see. I expect actually this game to be a little sloppy, to have a few turnovers, to have South Carolina in command, but not exactly pulling away big and bad. So a couple of you weighing in this morning. Ron from Lake Mary say I'm going to the game, so I'm optimistic. Okay, there's that. He says 42-6 Gamecocks. John from Somerville, very optimistic this morning. He's going South Carolina State 70-12. He still owes me that South Carolina shirt that the South Carolina shirt picture from last week when he lost his bet of taking Charlotte minus the 57. So that's all right. AC weighing in on our text line this morning. Excited for the game tonight. I always enjoyed Thursday night games during the Spurrier era, and that is a part of tonight, it being a Thursday night game. I got to admit, yeah, I'm kind of with you, AC. It's a little bit of a curveball. Opens up the weekend to watch what should be a really fun weekend of college football. Some great 3:30 games taking place. You'll have Clemson and North Carolina State from Memorial Stadium at 7:30 on Saturday night. It's a good weekend. Maybe the best weekend so far we've had of college football. So yeah, being able to just fixed food, hang out at the house, not have to worry about my team playing. Hey, call me excited for that. So I am thrilled and ready to have that. And you're right, a Thursday night game. Yeah, I kind of missed these all of a sudden. After South Carolina had made it a tradition there during the Spurrier era to have a Thursday night opener, I missed the Thursday night game. So a little excited for that as well. 803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in this morning, whether you want to call in via the Love Chevy phone lines, whether you want to text in. You can, as always, hop on our live stream. Travis, Brian, Larry, C.W. Clark, Robin, Jerry, Carlton, Rod, and Carlton holding down the South Carolina State portion of the live stream this morning, although Carlton giving us a prediction, telling us Brooklyn Casey knocked off Orangeburg Wilkinson last night 42-7. So a little bit of a high school update there. Do want to remind you tomorrow night we will have our usual high school scoreboard right here on 107.5 The Game, Tommy Moody and Justin Hall, but it will, given what's happened this week and the games being moved up, it'll actually be more of a recap show just from 9 to 10, a 1-hour show with Tommy and Justin Hall. So if you want to get all the details on the high school games this past week or, the last few days, you can tune in to Justin Hall and Tommy Moody right here on 107.5 The Game tomorrow night. But again, it'll be just a 1-hour show tomorrow night, so make sure you tune in and catch that. It'll have all the recaps of the scores, might have some interviews with coaches, but that'll be tomorrow night, so do want to let you know that. 803-404-6100. J.C. Sherbert set to join us from 7 to 8 a.m. this morning. We'll have a little game day preview with him. 8:20 this morning, Brian Edwards will hop on, and at 8:40, Kerry Tharp joins us. So we got a busy morning. Again, if you want to be a part of the program, 803-404-6100. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It is the early game on 107.5 The Game.
The Extra Point with Pearson, Preston, and the guys from Gamecock Central.
We had a caller in the last segment talking about Carolina getting pushed around on the line of scrimmage. And, Chris, you mentioned that the numbers wouldn't indicate that. 2.7 yards a carry. Y'all are both looking confused right now. I have to say, I kind of felt like I agreed with the caller.
Yeah, they did give up a few more chunk plays in the running game than you probably would like in the first half. It felt to me more like the big plays were coming in the passing game. Part of it, when you look at, they struggled so bad in the first half. I think they struggled for 2 drives. The first 2 drives, that was obviously not good enough. Nobody's happy with that. But I think just how the game played out, they scored on those first 2 drives. They did have their way with Carolina. After that, Carolina had their way with them.
Get the point? The Extra Point. 107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
We have a report of an accident, Shop Road near South Beltline Boulevard. Also, Highway 321 at Campground Road. Find an accident there. Windy and cool today, a high of 69. The rain arriving later tonight. And with this entire system, we could be getting anywhere from 3 to 6 inches over the next couple days. Rain heavy at times tomorrow. And, of course, we are under that tropical storm watch. So we'll have, sustained winds and gusts could be up to 55 miles an hour. High of 61 tomorrow, and then windy with some scattered showers for Saturday. Rain primarily focused in the morning and a high of 72. Right now it's windy, 61 at 107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. Miami's Tua Tagovailoa and Philadelphia's Jalen Hurts are currently the NFL's best stories. Both are unbeaten, both started at Alabama, and both have former Crimson Tide stars at wide receiver in Jalen Waddle and Devonta Smith. Nick Saban knows his talent for sure, but I do believe their coaches today, Mike McDaniel and Nick Sirianni, deserve a ton of credit too for unlocking their true potential. I'm Boomer Esiason.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and reduce friction and wear. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $33.99. Try Syntec today, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
198.
Get what you want and pay over time when you use your Lowe's Advantage Card. Now through October 26, 2022. Ask for 0% APR with 36 fixed monthly payments on a product installation or appliance purchase of $1,000 or more. Shop for the appliances you want in-store or online. Or go to the store nearest you for installation. Now at Lowe's. Offer subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store Lowe's.com for details. U.S. only.
Sponsored by eBay Motors. You might not have the biggest garage on the block, but with eBay Motors, there's 122 million parts right at your fingertips. Whatever you need, there's something that fits your vehicle. Air filters, tires, seat covers, and more.
Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
If you're thinking about retiring soon, be sure to tune in to Save Your Retirement with Pat Strobe, reservation specialists. Join Pat as he turns.
That sounds good. That looks like an AccuWeather channel. That's fine, but I want to watch Jim Cantori fighting the weather.
Yeah, nothing's more entertaining than that. You know your weather's going to be bad if he shows up.
Yeah.
Coverage options for commercials. Progressive.com.
I love my sweetheart. By the way, that's my riding lawnmower.
Progressive Casualty Company that gets coverage available for all these states. Policy terms and conditions apply.
You see? Come here. Dr. Ocasio's lab startup just discovered a gene therapy breakthrough. Cells have already go. He needs a fleet of research assistants before this breakthrough breaks them.
We need lab techs, research assistants.
Indeed can help him hire great people.
I need Indeed.
Indeed do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Go-to tractor for landowners and farmers. Carolina Power Equipment and KC.
Well, I appreciate this. This is an AccuWeather. All right. Does anybody out there know what channel Spectrum weather channel is on Spectrum? This is a good one. Ian's third landfall. Okay, so they're projecting it.
Government regulations for HVAC systems are changed in 2023.
It's got to be right around.
Plus, get a 15-year part labor warranty guarantee financing. Anyone can get a brand new HVAC system. That's AAA Heating and Air at 803
There it is. 211. All right.
Why am I getting this?
Found it 211. So, oh man, yep. Cantori's got has a baseball helmet on. I am. Yep, Robin. I went yesterday. Did the modified elliptical for 15 minutes. Little core work, and then switched over to some back and hamstring exercises. Work on the core. I'm more of a core person.
Whatever.
All right. We still got audio from yesterday. We still got that from you. Let's go. Can you play 11 real quick? Do you have that in front of you, or do you want me to call for it in a second? Go 11.
We've got to also play well. This is a really talented team that Coach Pugh has. So much respect for Buddy Pugh and the man he is and the coach he is. And then as well, I mean, just the legends of South Carolina State, guys like Willie Jeffries, who I've got so much respect for and I enjoy being around every chance I get. So tons of respect for their program. They got a lot of really good players. There's a lot of talk last year about Jackson State, and rightfully so. People forget that South Carolina State beat Jackson State 31-10 in the last game of the season in their bowl game last year as well. A lot of guys that are key guys that were on that team are still on this team as well. This is a really, really athletic group led by a veteran quarterback. A lot of these NFL scouts that come through Columbia to watch us practice, when I usually ask them, where are you headed next? And the majority of them are headed to Orangeburg to go watch South Carolina State, because I know they had a high draft pick last year in the defensive back, and they're going to have some guys off this year's team that are going to be draft picks as well, notably that the receiver number 1 that they have out there as well. So this is a really athletic group, and we know how important this game is to them and our state and us as well. So we've got to have a really quick preparation, but a solid preparation, because this is a talented team coming in here that'll be excited to play on Thursday night as well. So
Shane Beamer, that is from his Tuesday press conference, so a little bit earlier in the week, talking about South Carolina State, and the Bulldogs will enter tonight's game 1-2 on the season. They were a 56-10 loser to Central Florida, 4 weeks ago? It was a Thursday night game down in Orlando at the Bounce House. 56-10 Central Florida, and Gus Malzahn took them down. They would bounce back, South Carolina State would, and defeat Bethune-Cookman 33-9 in Daytona Beach in game number 2 before dropping a 41-27 decision last week to North Carolina A&T up in Greensboro. So the Bulldogs enter the game 1-2 on the season, and there is some good players there for them. South Carolina cannot sleepwalk into this game and just expect to, roll out the football, and then the next thing you know, going up to Kentucky. Kendall Flowers leads the team in rushing with 24 attempts for 156 yards and 2 touchdowns. He'll be the guy on the ground tonight for the Bulldogs. As a team, South Carolina State this year has rushed 98 times for 284 yards and just 2 touchdowns, as I mentioned there with Mr. Flowers. So the Gamecocks should be able to slow down the Bulldog rushing attack. That really shouldn't be a problem there for them. The guy to watch is Shaquan Davis. He is the big-time wide receiver that is expected to be drafted. Matter of fact, was a guy that it was talked about entering the transfer portal, and that South Carolina fans, at least on message boards, had been interested in maybe trying to get a hold of if he did enter the transfer portal. And Shaquan Davis is a guy to keep an eye on tonight. 9 receptions on the year, 249 yards. So he averages 27.6.7. 27, we'll call it 27.7. We'll round up yards per reception. He's got 3 touchdowns and averages 83 yards per game. So those are just a few names to know as South Carolina gets ready for this ball game tonight and what they need to do to slow down the Bulldogs. Corey Fields, the quarterback for the Bulldogs so far on the season, 37 of 80. He is in passing, averages 166 yards per game, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on the season. So, again, it's a game in which I don't think South Carolina is going to just run away with. Certainly the opportunity is there. South Carolina's the bigger, the more physical team. They're the group that should go out tonight and physically manhandle South Carolina State. Maybe you see that for a half. But I think when you get it, I think, now this is just me speaking here. This is not talking with sources. This is not this is not just kind of, it's just me kind of speculating. I think when you get the early game and the way that both teams have had to prepare and practice this week, and the way that can kind of set back the injury situation, where if a guy's even less, if he's not even 70% or not even, if he's 80%, normally maybe you test him and you see what he can do, and who knows, maybe he gets out there and he's okay and you turn him loose. I think this is a game where if you've got guys banged up, Darius Rush is dealing with the hamstring, I don't even think you put him out there. I'm not even sure you dress him out. South Carolina should be able to go and win this game with its backups, and you play the starters. You hope for a half, and then you've got a lead, 24-31-0, something like that. That's what you hope for, and then you get your backups in and you play guys. That's what really good football teams, Alabama's, the Ohio States, the Georgias, the Michigans, that's what they're able to do. They're able to blow teams out and then get those backups in and get them live in-game reps. And South Carolina was able to do that a little bit against Charlotte last weekend to help build some depth. They're going to need to continue to do that tonight. So you hope South Carolina goes out and is able to go right down. I know this will be another game where people are going to look and say, can South Carolina go down and get a touchdown on the opening possession? And certainly they should. Last week, they drove all the way down to the 2-yard line, decided to have a play-action pass, which drove me just absolutely insane, and then ended up getting backed up and settling for a field goal. And then it was Charlotte going on the long drive, the 7-minute drive there, in which they scored a touchdown. That's the thing that can't happen tonight. I actually look at this as South Carolina cannot give up a touchdown on the opening drive, on South Carolina State's opening drive. South Carolina's got to stop that. So far this season, remember, Georgia State drove down to about the 8-yard line before South Carolina was able to stop them on downs. Then Arkansas, Georgia, and now Charlotte all scored on their very first, scored touchdowns, by the way, on their very first drive of the game. I would actually be far more disappointed in that if South Carolina allows a touchdown on the opening drive as opposed to South Carolina going down and scoring a touchdown. They do need to score on the opening possession. But if they have to settle for a field goal, I kind of will say, okay, it is what it is. But if they give up a touchdown on the opening drive, I'll be far more concerned about that because that has to stop. That has to stop. Now, that defense, I know they're depleted and banged up a little bit, but there's no excuse for that. South Carolina's got to come out and be ready to get a 3-and-out or at least force the Bulldogs to punt. I mean, think about that. South Carolina's not forced a punt on the opening drive to start the game of any of the first four. 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in. Several of you weighing in with some predictions this morning. RL hitting us up. He's going 42-7 there on our live stream where you can hop in this morning. T weighing in this morning and saying, good morning, all. Great day for a football game. Kaki Chuan with a good morning. We got a lot going on this morning. If you want to jump in and be a part of the program, again, 2 ways to do that. You can hit us up via our phone lines, 803-404-6100, or again, you can go and join that live stream. Go to youtube.com, search, click, subscribe, join, hang around, get involved early on. Maria saying, score early and be physical. Play a lot of guys. Let's get a good look. Let's look good and get healthy. I typed this before the break, so I agree with Bill. There you go, Maria. That's all right. You're saying that we're on the same page this morning as we get up and get going for a football Thursday. If you got to go to work, get in early, get your stuff done, get it knocked out, and let's go out and tailgate a little bit. Should be a windy night. Jen, I know you'll give weather reports throughout the morning. We've gotten the Weather Channel up and going here in the studio is Hurricane Ian, now kind of making its way across the state of Florida. And I'm trying to see here, I was doing a sports talk radio show and not being a meteorologist, but it's now tropical storm in. So it's no longer a hurricane. It has now been downgraded is what I look up and see.
Okay. I had not seen that yet.
That is what the Weather Channel is telling me here as of 6:29.
But still some pretty significant winds.
It's registering 65 miles an hour, and certainly here in Columbia, it's starting to pick up a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like it's just like 5 o'clock this morning. It's on the east side of Florida, so it's about to head back out into the water.
Yeah,
and then it'll remain a tropical storm.
Yeah, it'll pick up a little bit of steam there. 803-404-6100. That's how you can be a part of the program this morning. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, JC Sherbert due up in about 30 minutes. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game's 15th anniversary rewind. 2009.
Michael Jackson dies at the age of 50. The movie Avatar is released. It'll go on to break many box office records. U.S. Airways Flight 1549 is struck by geese, forcing a crash landing on the Hudson River by pilot Sully Sullenberger. All 155 people on board survived. At Carolina, the football team went 7-6 and lost the Papa John's Bowl to UConn. The men's basketball team finished 21-10 in Coach Darren Horn's first year. The women's hoop squad completed Coach Don Staley's first season 10-18. And the baseball team went 40-23 and advanced to the NCAA regionals.
Our 15th anniversary celebration on 107.5 The Game is sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, getting you better sooner. On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game and the new 107.5 The Game app.
Getting out and enjoying life, something that you definitely want to do, something that you would like getting out, maybe whether it is going out in the yard and throwing the football, getting in the driveway, shooting the basketball. Maybe you want to be that great significant other that wants to take a nice walk in the evening, get a little dinner, take a walk around the neighborhood, spend some time with your significant other. Maybe you want to take a walk and get away from your significant other. Whatever it is, most of you probably like to get out and go and enjoy life. But if you've been suffering from joint pain, if you've had issues with your knees, with your hips, with your back, and you're thinking, man, the only way to get this fixed is through surgery, don't believe that. There's a brand new alternative with QC Kinetics. You can get a free consultation today and find out what QC Kinetics can do for you. Give them a phone call, 803-281-6860. Again, that's 803-281-6860. If you've been told that drugs or surgery, having to just lay around and let this work itself out, is the only way to get you fixed. That's not the case. Call QC Kinetics today. They are the nation's leader in an exciting new pain treatment with advanced regenerative medicine, non-surgical alternatives. Call QC Kinetics today. Get a free consultation and find out more about what I'm talking about. 803-281-6860. So if you want to get out of the house and be away from the family but be active, or whether you want to be active around the family, whatever works for you, call QC Kinetics and get back to living the lifestyle you want to live. 803-281-6860. Again, that's 803-281-6860.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
We have an injury accident, Shop Road near South Beltline Boulevard. Also, a report of an accident, Lorick Road near Highway 321 up in the Blythewood area. And Highway 321 at Campground Road, also an accident there. In your forecast for today, we're under a tropical storm watch. It's going to be windy and cool today, a high of 69. Rain coming in late tonight. And then tomorrow, rain. It'll be heavy at times. And, of course, we have those winds. Kind of guessing right now what those could be. It could be 25 to 35 mile an hour, like sustained winds, gusts up to 55 miles per hour. A high of 61 tomorrow, and the rain goes into at least through Saturday morning. Right now, though, it's windy, 61, 107.5 The Game.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we've seen how terrible accidents turn lives upside down, and we're proud to be the lawyers our clients depend on during their toughest moments. I'm Jason Reynolds. Call me when your family is faced with any serious injury or death.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When you're hurt at work, I go to work, getting you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on. We have the experience and passion you need when you need it most.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 779.
Yep, I agree. I think that'll help.
Whatever you've got planned today, cancel it. Labor Day savings going on now at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone and GallianaSC.com. Unlike other dealers, we're selling new Chryslers and Jeeps below MSRP. Just go to GallianaSC.com and see for yourself. Like 2022 Jeep Compass Latitude, lease for just $289 per month. That's right, a new Jeep for $289 per month. Plus, you can still custom order the exact Jeep you want for just $1 down and $1,000 below MSRP. Don't forget, we'll take any trade-in in any condition. All trade-ins are welcome. Gotta go to Galliana. Labor Day savings going on now. The sooner you come in, the more you save. During Jeep Adventure Days at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. I-126 Zoo Exit in Columbia. Call 779-7300 or GallianaSC.com. 36 months lease, $29.99 to assign. Plus tax and tag includes $225 closing fee. Zero security deposit, 2022 Compass Sport. $1 down, $27.77 per month per $1,000 borrow for 36 months at 0% APR. Offer subject to limit. Approval expires month end.
I'm Kayla Burton with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The Chargers keep getting struck by lightning on the injury front. Team plays Pro Bowl defensive end Joey Bosa on injured reserve. He'll need surgery after injuring his groin in Sunday's loss to the Jaguars. Now, the Chargers are hopeful Bosa will be able to return at some point this season. Well, speaking of returns, the Zach Wilson era is back for the Jets. The second-year quarterback was medically cleared to play after missing the first 3 games with a knee injury. Barring any setbacks, he'll start Sunday against Pittsburgh. And it was not a good day to be a Pro Bowl running back. Carolina's Christian McCaffrey, Minnesota's Dalvin Cook, and the Colts' Jonathan Taylor all missed practice Wednesday with injuries. NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero reports Taylor's absence was more precautionary, and he is expected to play this Sunday. On the flip side, the Lions say their leading rusher, DeAndre Swift, likely will not be playing this week due to a shoulder injury. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code MADDOG at checkout. That's Harry's.com, code MADDOG. Enjoy.
Come on, y'all, let's take a
Oh, this is awful news to wake up to this morning. I was scrolling through Twitter very quickly, and Coolio has passed away at the age of 59. His talent manager tells TMZ, she says, "We are saddened by the loss of our dear friend and client Coolio, who passed away Wednesday afternoon at his Los Angeles home. He touched the world with a gift of his talent, will be missed profoundly. Please have Coolio's loved ones in your thoughts and prayers." That's awful news. 59 years of age. So if you're about mine, I'm 40. So if you've got you got tailgate going this afternoon, maybe play a little Coolio, whether it's Fantastic Voyage or maybe a little Gangster's Paradise. That's right. Yeah, that's sad. So thoughts and prayers out there with Coolio and his family. Yeah, who knew that TMZ would make an appearance on the early game? But yeah, scrolling through this morning and some sad news there, as according to Coolio's talent manager, Coolio passed away or was pronounced dead last night. Basically, this is a report from 6:47 Pacific time, so roughly 10 o'clock Eastern time. So there's some tailgating music for you today if you want to get out and enjoy a football game on a Thursday. That's right, a football game on a Thursday. A couple of y'all weighing in with some predictions. Drew on the way to school this morning, our little buddy Drew, he says 35-0 Gamecocks. Jalen Brooks gets in the end zone this week. Good luck to Jalen from the Seidel family. Also, good luck to Blythewood as they take on Fort Mill in their homecoming. Jess weighing in and says, "Good morning. I want the Gamecocks to win 62-3. I don't want South Carolina State to even get close to the end zone. Just run the ball down their throats. Have a great day." And our buddy Carlton earlier sending in a prediction here on the live stream. He was going, and he's our South Carolina State guy. He goes South Carolina South Carolina 35, South Carolina State 14. It'll be a Thursday night game. Obviously, not the way you draw it up. Was scheduled for Saturday. Normally, we'd be having our usual Thursday morning sports talk show, but it's more of a pregame show this morning. So how did we arrive here? Here's a little bit of Shane Beamer from Tuesday talking about how this game was moved and how he and Ray Tanner kind of came to this decision.
Up, and this was last night, dinner time, probably started this. He and I talked on the phone about a couple different things, and then I want to say that he reached out to our bosses here at Carolina, and he reached out, I believe, to Coach Pugh as well, to kind of see where they were with things. And I was all for Thursday, and South Carolina State obviously was all for Thursday. And then beyond that, it was me just giving my opinion. And then after that, it was out of my hands. I mean, we were ready to go either way, whether it was Saturday, whether it was Thursday, or.
That's Shane Beamer talking again on Tuesday. That was during his weekly press conference on Tuesday, where he discussed some of these things, and one in particular about moving the game up. Should be a lot of fun tonight. Just getting back out to the ballpark on a Thursday night. Again, going to be, as you heard Jen say, it's going to be windy. It's going to be a little chilly. The rain should start moving in towards the end of the game. I've seen varying times. One of them I did see was going to be closer to halftime. I am interested to see today if we get, it appears Clemson and North Carolina State are still on for Saturday night up at Memorial Stadium. And really, it's going to be windy and rainy. The big question there would be, how much resource are you taking away from the state of South Carolina in terms of having management for crowd control and things of that nature? That's really your big concern. The weather at Memorial Stadium should be fine. I'm not going to tell you it's going to be fine. It's going to be windy and rainy. Pack a poncho if you're heading up. I don't know who that really impacts more. That's going to be kind of interesting. We'll talk with J.C. Sherbert a little bit about that coming up in about 20 minutes. and the weather and how it impacts. I actually think it helps Clemson a little bit more. Those young cornerbacks that they've got being able to just focus more so on the run and eliminating some of North Carolina State's passing game. Clemson should be able to run up and have line up and have some success running the football with Will Shipley and a few designed quarterback runs. So this may play into Clemson's hands with maybe eliminating some of the North Carolina State passing game, which, again, at that point would then kind of take some of the pressure off of that defensive secondary that's been beaten up a little bit or was beaten up a little bit last week. 803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in this morning. If you want to send in a prediction, our buddy Larry on the live stream going 44-10. Jason going 66-13. Good guys, obviously, as he points out. So a lot of you weighing in with big games. Zach this morning going with a 48-6 game. Says Marshawn Lloyd has a big first half and Rattler throws for 200 yards. Go Gamecocks. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
The Halftime Show with Jay, Terry, and Tommy. Noon to 3 on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.
77 northbound at Farrow Road. We have an accident. Also find one Lorick Road near Highway 321. And 321 at Campground Road. Also, you'll find a tie-up. We're looking for windy and cool conditions today. The rain coming in late tonight. High 69. And again, with that rain, we could be seeing 3 to 6 inches of rain with this system. Tomorrow, rain, heavy at times. Of course, those heavy winds because we are under that tropical storm watch. And the windy scattered showers on Saturday and a high of 72. Right now, though, kind of windy and 61 at 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Family Dollar. Family Dollar has more for Halloween. Find everything for the perfect celebration, from costume accessories to spooky decorations.
All right, there we go.
And don't miss a variety of candy from your favorite brands. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
South Carolina weather can be a little crazy. Make sure your biggest investment is protected. Call the guys in the Mountain Blue trucks.
They've been providing top-notch service throughout the Midlands for over 40 years. Call today at 791-7147. That's 791-7147.
Oh, we got to get a tweet out. We got to get our tweet out. I forgot about that there. Where's the old Twitter?
Starts with the letter T.
I found it. Let's see.
That's it done.
And accessories help you work smarter, not harder. Carolina Power Equipment, 2490 Charleston Highway in Casey, Florida. CarolinaPowerEquipment.com.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the South Carolina Army National Guard. Aired by the South Carolina Broadcasting Association at this station. Back with Travis Benson, owner of CNT Foundations. Travis, is there really a difference in foundation repair companies?
Absolutely, Gary. And choosing the wrong one can be costly. What sets us apart is that we're real, local general contractors offering homeowners lifetime solutions. And we value customer satisfaction over customer volume.
Call 803-805-8044. CNT Foundations. Your foundation experts.
Between business life, social life, and her best bud Loki, Beverly has a lot to focus on, especially while fighting Stargardt, a blinding retinal disease. But she's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Beverly, winning the fight means focusing on what's closest to her. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org. My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks NyQuil high blood pressure for fast, powerful nighttime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. NyQuil high blood pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks NyQuil high blood pressure. At nighttime, sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use it directly.
Gamecock fans, are you ready? New for 2022, we have Legacy Headwear, Columbia Sportswear, shirts, hats, and jackets. Ladies, if you felt left out in the past, feel that way no more. Gamecock.
Now it's looking like the rain may not come in until like in the overnight hours. So that's a good thing. So that I'm watching on iOS right now, he's saying that it could be 2 in the morning.
I feel like it's been pushed back a little bit. Let's play number 4 coming back in, if you don't mind. Number 4. Okay.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is
Sounds bad. You're going to need to send in a link or tell us what's going on there. Good, John. Hope you're feeling good, buddy. Good to hear from you. Hope you're doing well down there.
I've been here for a lot of Thursday night games here in Columbia. I know how electric and special they can be. I told the team out there after practice this morning, I mean, I remember some really special ones. I told them about 2008 when I think it was Russell Wilson and NC State. Is that right, David? NC State and Russell Wilson came in here and got blanked 34-0 on a Thursday night. Told them about the 2009 Ole Miss game. I think that was the first time we ever played Sandstorm, if I'm not mistaken. They came in here ranked number 4 in the country and got beat. And then I'd forgotten about 2007. Kentucky was a top 10 team and came in here and got beat on a Thursday night. And then don't y'all forget 2009, the boys from Hattiesburg, or 2010, the boys from Hattiesburg, Southern Miss ran in here on a Thursday night. So we had a Thursday night home game every year that I was here as an assistant coach, and had some awesome Thursday nights out there in Columbia.
That's Shane Beamer talking about Thursday nights in Columbia. And yeah, for the better part of 10 years, really, starting with 2005 when Steve Spurrier made his debut against Central Florida on a Thursday night. And we welcomed the old ball coach back to college football. He threw the long touchdown pass there against, he didn't, but Blake Mitchell threw it to Noah Whiteside on the second play of the game or third play of the game. And South Carolina was off and running on that particular night and would end up winning 24-15 in that thing. South Carolina would go on to have many Thursday night games over the next few years, being kind of the official, unofficial opening of the college football season. I think it was 2006. They played Louisiana Lafayette on a Thursday night, on a Saturday. But after that, 2007 was, I believe, I'm trying to do quick math on all this. I'm trying to think back to which games were which games, but certainly South Carolina would go on to a string of Thursday night games, whether it was to open the season or the Auburn game, certainly in the middle of the season. I think, actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, I think 2006 was South Carolina opened up at Mississippi State out there in Starkville and won 15-0 in that ball game. So you get the point. South Carolina there for the better part of 10 years, 11 years, was the opening of college football season on a Thursday night. Again, this week, not exactly the same as South Carolina has their game moved. And a lot of those, most of them, were against SEC or Power 5 opponents, whether it was North Carolina or North Carolina State. Obviously, there was an opener against Vanderbilt. There was an opener against Vanderbilt. There was also, there was actually 3 games, or I'm trying to think, there was 3 Thursday night games against Vanderbilt. And now that I say it out loud, I believe all 3 were in Nashville. There was an opener up there in one of Connor Shaw's seasons. There was a Thursday night game that was like the second or third week of the season. And then, of course, the Will Muschamp opener up there as well. So you get the point. South Carolina's done has a lot of Thursday night experience, and it's something that I don't know. I don't know if some of you want to label it as a tradition. Shane Beamer just talking about it there. Certainly that Kentucky game where Andre Woodson came in and South Carolina lit him up and won a fun one on a Thursday night. That was a top 10 showdown in 2007 between the Gamecocks and the Wildcats. South Carolina might have actually just been on the fringe of top 10, might have been number 11, as I don't have the rankings right in front of me from that year. But South Carolina win that. That one, of course, sparked the game where Eric Norwood at the end is being interviewed and stops the interview to go run over and sing the alma mater. Then, of course, you heard Shane talk about the 2008 game against Mississippi, where Jevin Sneed and Houston Nutt and the Rebels come in, number 4 in the country. I think they had, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to remember the running back, Bolden, I think they had, and South Carolina won that game. Of course, I remember that game real well because after the game, Steve Spurrier was upset that his offense didn't win the game. He went in and said, well, maybe one night we'll go out here and win a game offensively and not have to do it defensively. And I remember thinking, geez, your team just beat a top 5 team in the country at home on a Thursday night, and you're complaining that the defense actually won the football game and not the offense. So a lot of good memories for South Carolina fans from Thursday nights. You'll be able to get out there early this afternoon. I believe everything is opening up around 2:00 today and getting going. So it should be a really fun night. Again, the weather, Jen was just saying off air, we're trying to keep an eye on this for those of you, because there's also high school games in the area, and certainly Lexington and Chapin is one that is happening tonight. But Jen, you were saying just off air again, as we try and give a weather report for those trying to figure out the evening. The weather report tonight, you're saying now the rain itself may not be moving in until after midnight.
Yeah, correct. It looks like when you the last report that I saw on WIS, they were saying that it is likely that the rain, you'll go to bed, it'll be dry, but when you wake up in the morning, there will be rain. So they're saying maybe, in the middle of the night is when that rain really should be coming in.
So, yeah, so you should be able to get out and enjoy the game tonight. William, thank you. Dexter McCluster was the running back in 2009. Appreciate that, buddy. Way to weigh in. We're a family-oriented show, but we're also a team show here as we get you up and get you going. J.C. Sherbert set to join us in about 6 minutes. We will not only talk about this game, we'll talk about a few other things going on around the country. Again, it should be a really, really fun weekend as we get you up and get you going here on a Thursday. We'll have some college football. There is a good NFL game tonight. If it was not for South Carolina being moved, I was kind of ready to talk a lot of NFL, because the Miami Dolphins, coming off that big win over poor old Jeff Berge's Buffalo Bills, the Dolphins. That thing that shocked me about that was not that the Dolphins won. I thought they could win. It shocked me that they held the Bills offense to 17 points. That was absolutely amazing. That Bills offense, and Josh Allen threw for 400 yards on Sunday afternoon. But tonight you've got the Dolphins and the Bengals. The Bengals trying to get kind of on track. They're off to a little bit of a funky start, 1-1 on the season, and we'll see how they perform tonight in a what should be a really fun Thursday night game, something that was actually I was ready to fully invest myself on NFL, the Amazon Prime game of the week. Excuse me. By the way, the Bengals are 1-2. I forgot about the loss to the Cowboys. I block out any Cowboys victories, but the Bengals are 1-2 on the season, so it should be a good one there. So we got a good night of football. South Carolina State, Bengals, Dolphins. Should be a lot of fun. We'll get to a lot of college football coming up in the next hour. J.C. Sherbert set to join us from 7 to 8. Brian Edwards weighing in at 8:20 this morning. We'll catch up with him a little bit, and Kerry Tharp at roughly 8:45. In between now and then, you want to weigh in with your predictions. Love to hear from you. 803-404-6100 is how you can do that. And coming up next hour, we'll give you a family 4-pack of tickets for tonight to South Carolina State. We'll probably try and do that in the first segment, Jen. We'll see if we can get that out of the way, do that in the first segment. So in about 15 minutes, we'll give you a family 4-pack of tickets to tonight's South Carolina State game. So get those dialing fingers ready. You're listening to Bill Gunner and Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Gamecocks, Braves, the NFL with live local radio. 107.5 The Game, WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia, a Cumulus media station.
Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning, the most trusted and reviewed cleaning company in town. Take advantage of their fall sale going on now. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only
It's already been said. You'd already said you were behind. Did you say it earlier? That's right. You messed up. You should have. Who was it? The other guy weighed in before you. Got to be quick around here, Craig. Got to be quick. Light on your feet, quick. That's what I wondered too. Let's see here. Got to keep the masses informed this morning. Coolio news was awful.
I'm curious what happened. That was out of the blue.
Have to get some more Coolio music as we go through.
I have another one.
Yep, good. All right.
Midlands Landscape Alone, 356-8080 or midlandslandscape.com.
Due to upcoming government regulations, the current fear rate for HVAC systems will change. It's time for you to call AAA Heating 771500. Current inventory cannot be sold after.
Is that Canator with his man? I'm looking at the pictures here.
With our 15-year warranty and guarantee financing, AAA Heating and Air have made it possible for anyone to get a new system. Call them today, 803-677-1500. You can enjoy new home comfort as quickly as possible.
Wow.
803-677-1500. Tell them you heard it here with Bill Gutter on 107.5.
Jim Cantori. I always say Canatori. I don't know why. Yeah, John, good to heart attack tea. Yeah, is that okay? I hadn't seen an update. Good to hear from you though, John. So it looks like as of now it's 65 mile per hour winds. Jen, you may want to tell JC when we go to the 740 break for him to just go ahead and hang up or something.
We had talked about that the other day, that we just need to disconnect and start over. Yep. So ridiculous.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. We will never charge above MSRP or take advantage of you with add-ons. I-26 in Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads.
The early game with Bill Gutter.
So it looks like it's kind of over Orlando. No, I didn't see this. They're not showing it on the highlights.
This iPad has dominated me this morning. Like, it has been a beating at the hands of this iPad. We'll see if I got it fixed there. On your home of the Gamecocks.
Today's phrase of the day is, I have no clue.
107.5.
If you say, I have no clue, this means I don't know. In fact, I don't even have any idea.
The Game.
.701 on a Thursday morning, what is now a game day Thursday morning, as we get you up, get you going here. Bill Gunner, JC Sherbert, Jen Jensen. JC, it's nice to have a Thursday game day. It's a bit of a throwback for South Carolina fans. South Carolina was kind of the dominant Thursday. I guess South Carolina and Virginia Tech are the two that kind of became the dominant Thursday night teams of the last, 15 years. And then it's been a while. Will Muschamp's opening game was the last time we had a Thursday night game. That was up in Nashville, but kind of enjoyable, even if it came under unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah, you sort of miss it when you start to think about it. I don't know what the thought process was to kind of stop doing it, whether it was Will or ESPN or what, or whether that was just something Steve Spurrier, because of who he is. It was really, I guess, interesting to the networks to have him because the head ball coach is always, the draw. But yeah, I think too, Bill. A lot of with the lack of Thursday night games, it may be external forces. The NFL used to not have a game every Thursday night, but now they do. And so maybe that's why you don't see as many big time matchups. But yeah, you mentioned Virginia Tech. Feel kind of bad for them because they got stuck in this whole ACC play on Friday night thing too. And I'm just like, I think it's fine to see a little action on Friday night or even a Pac-12 team and all that. But major programs, I think south of the Mason-Dixon line have no business playing on Friday night. But that's just me. But it's been a while. We had a poll up yesterday for Inside the Gamecocks, the show, about the favorite Thursday night win for the last 20 years. And I was kind of the genius behind it that didn't put the 2007 Kentucky game in there. But there was an other category. But 09 Ole Miss really, with the current fan base, a lot of the younger folks and all that, that was a game that it ran away with the poll at 83%. Obviously, Birth of Sandstorm at the time, it was the highest ranked team Carolina had ever defeated at Williams-Brice Stadium. Ole Miss was number 4, believe it or not, under Houston Nutt, believe it or not, coming into the game. Garcia played a gutty game. The defense was great, forced turnovers. Jevon Sneed, I think, probably, didn't have a great game for them, and Carolina won 16-10. And, I was in town back then. We were hanging out. I don't know if I saw you before that. I think I actually tailgated over there at your dad's parking lot that night, right there. So that was a great memory for me too. But certainly, you get a little nostalgic about it. I mean, one of the games I remember too, and this may go back a ways, was 2001 when the Gamecocks played Mississippi State on the road, the first game after 9/11, big win. Andrew Pinnock with a big run late to kind of salt it away. They survived in Starkville. And you remember at the time, Mississippi State, with the exception of the fade pass, they were kind of a pain in the Gamecocks' butt. They had to play them every single year. Jackie Sherrill was 2 years or 3 years removed from winning the West at Mississippi State. So that was a big win for Carolina at the time as well, to go on the road. And certainly with things that happened in our country at the time, it was a special night. It was my buddy's bachelor party, his first one. So I remember half of that night pretty well. So a lot of good Thursday night. I mean, Steve Spurrier's debut was on a Thursday night. Memorable atmosphere. The game kind of lagged, at second half. But then, that win Muschamp had at Vanderbilt was big too. That Vanderbilt team ended up going to a bowl and beating Tennessee at the end of the year. They were talking all kinds of smack. The media was talking all kinds of smack. And, Perry Orth and Brandon McElwain and A.J. Turner and Debo Samuel and a gritty, tough as nails defense for that one. Went up there and Elliott Fry kicked the big winner and they pulled it out in Muschamp's debut. And I know that era did not end well, but it certainly began with a nice, tough Gamecock style win. So I think that there's just a lot of memories that came back from Monday on about Thursday nights.
Yeah, I was, funny thing, I was looking at that Mississippi game back in 2009. It occurred, I guess, technically 5 days ago, 13 years ago, September 24th. And then it was actually followed up by a game against South Carolina State, of all teams. But let me ask you this, because this is impromptu. It's impromptu, but one thing that has come of this, and I'm trying to think, I think it was Heath Klein that I had on yesterday, and as it was announced Tuesday, Heath made the comment that on his show, at least, after the announcement, this was pretty universally liked by South Carolina fans. Like, okay, yeah, Thursday night game. Like, there was a lot of people that are kind of on board with this. I don't think there's going to be. I'd be surprised if there's 77,000, 75,000 in there tonight. But I expect it to be a good crowd. You mentioned something, and I don't know. And this is worth somebody much smarter than me or understanding. And maybe it's just me asking Ray Tanner if I ever get a chance. The logistics of scheduling a Thursday night game, JC, because quite honestly, I would love the idea of South Carolina in future years scheduling a Thursday night game against, say, a South Carolina State when you got a Kentucky following them and you get the extra 48 hours rest next year, if Furman is willing to make the short drive down on a Thursday night to take on South Carolina in the second game of the year, the reason being you get an extra 48 hours to prepare for Georgia the following week. Does that, and you just think in the future, I think 3 years maybe. I'm trying to think. There was another one where they play Wofford. Maybe you don't want to do that with the way Wofford's offense is. But if you played a lesser team, especially an in-state team that could travel, I'm open to the idea of a Thursday night game to try and maybe just squeak in a few extra days to prepare or rest the following weekend.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad idea. Wofford. The good news about Wofford, they're not really a Georgia Tech under Paul Johnson triple option style team anymore. So yeah, I think it's just so hard with because Citadel for a while got away from that, and then they came back to it, and you saw what happened in 2015,
yes,
obviously. But yeah, and I think it's easier for the fans, because there's so many fans these days that are good, passionate fans, and I want to give a lot of credit to this fan base for showing up like they have the first 3 home games. There was a while there, be it COVID, be it frustration with the previous staff, be it kind of a hangover from the end of the Spurrier era, whatever, Clemson's rise, whatever you want to blame it on. Attendance was down. Now, attendance has been down across the country. And last year is kind of surprising. The first year of a new staff, you kind of expected to tick up, and it didn't. And so you look at it now, and I think the fan base is kind of whole again, and they're back, and they've been showing up and showing tremendous enthusiasm. And so, big shout out to all the fans out there. Because that's what you need. I mean, even when things are not going well, or if they're not as ideal as you want, if you don't show up, you're not going to recruit well, et cetera, and it's a vicious cycle. But no, I'd be for that. Yeah, Furman game next year. You got North Carolina up in Charlotte, and then the turnaround there. What you want to be careful of is like you mentioned, Wofford and their style of offense that they used to play. You don't want to have to turn around in 5 days and prepare for the triple option. Right. Or something crazy unique like that. Like there's a Coastal game coming up. Gosh. And of course, right, if they played it right now, it'd be this huge deal because Coastal's, they got it rolling. But, you probably don't want to have 5 days to prepare for Jamie Chadwell's offense. You want that full week. But, I think it's kind of one of those things that unfortunately became part of the DNA of this program and kind of the tradition of the program. And then it just went away. And so, and it wasn't really discussed. And so I think this week has kind of joggled some people's memory going, hey, yeah, Thursday nights are pretty cool, and, especially this week too, Bill. You talk about people being for it. Like the only people that it wasn't even the people that aren't going to be able to go because of work and stuff. They weren't frustrated. I mean, that on my message board on thebigspur.com, they were giving tickets away, trying to get a home for their tickets, and happy and ready to roll. I mean, so sometimes you expect a lot of negativity when things like that happen, but it hasn't been overwhelmingly positive. And I think that nostalgia is a big reason why.
Yeah, I'll just go back. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know about Jacksonville State this year, let alone next year, JC. But again, you've got two games that maybe you could sneak in there as Thursday night. I mean, certainly,
not now with Jacksonville State.
Okay,
not next year.
Okay,
unless they make a coaching change, because Rich Rodriguez is their head coach.
Okay, good. See, I'm not even pretending to know about Jacksonville. We're just not even good on that.
Yeah, you don't want to play Rich Rod right. Short notice. I mean,
well, that's also coming off the Texas. Offense. That's also coming off of back-to-back trips to Missouri and Texas A&M. So,
and those trips out to the Big 12 teams, I call them the Big 12 duo. Those are a little bit taxing because you're flying halfway across the country and all that. So it's not as brutal as it is in basketball, where you may have to do it on a Wednesday or Thursday, turn around and play on a Saturday. But in football, it's a long trip. So with the Rich Rod factor. But yeah, I mean, we could discuss every game on the schedule for the next 10 years if we wanted to. But I agree with your idea. I think that's something maybe that, out of all of this, and this is a tragic situation. Just looking at the video from Florida, and you got to pray for the people on the coast of South Carolina because it's coming that way. But out of all this, I think this is something that may be kind of a surprising development, with regards to Thursday nights.
Yeah, we'll see kind of how it impacts South Carolina. Again, I'm not saying you play an SEC game on a Thursday night. As you just mentioned now, I mean, tonight you've got a Bengals Dolphins game that's going to be the main attraction. That's going to be a very good game with Joe.
And I think that's why the big matchup, those are conference matchups on Thursday night, have kind of gone away. If you notice, week one, you'll have Tennessee play. Tennessee's been doing the opener on Thursday night the last 2 years. They played Ball State this year, and then last year they played somebody else from the MAC. Gave them some Bowling Green, I think. So the matchups on Thursday in the SEC have not been super duper, and I think that's intentional because they don't want to go up against the NFL.
Yeah, and again, a really good one tonight. 803-404-6100. If you want to send in a text or weigh in, you can join us on our live stream. Go to youtube.com, search, click, join, subscribe, be a part of the show there. Coming up, we'll talk with JC about what he wants to see tonight. And kind of the same thing. South Carolina's the bigger, more physical team. They should kind of dominate the lines of scrimmage, but there's a difference between what they should do and what you think you'll see. We'll get together with JC on that. Right now, though, we're going to give you a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets. It's the Carolina Honda Powerhouse ticket giveaway. Carolina Honda Powerhouse, your source for Honda Power Sports. Visit carolinahonda.com. Call 803-404-6100 right now for your chance to win a pair of tickets. JC, if you get bumped off the line, we apologize. People are fired up for these things. So you try and hold on there, and we'll give these tickets away right now. 803-404-6100. It's the Carolina Honda Powerhouse ticket giveaway, a family 4-pack of tickets. Call right now.
Call now to win Gamecocks tickets right here. 803-404-6100. Sponsored by Carolina Honda Powerhouse, your source for Honda Power Sports. ATVs, motorcycles, side-by-sides, and generators. From your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
The Extra Point with Pearson, Preston, and the guys from Gamecock Central.
We had a caller in the last segment talking about Carolina getting pushed around on the line of scrimmage. And, Chris, you mentioned that the numbers wouldn't indicate that. 2.7 yards a carry. Y'all are both looking confused right now. I have to say, I kind of felt like I agreed with the caller.
Yeah, they did give up a few more chunk plays in the running game than you probably would like in the first half. It felt to me more like the big plays were coming in the passing game. Part of it, when you look at, they struggled so bad in the first half. I think they struggled for 2 drives. The first 2 drives, that was obviously not good enough. Nobody's happy with that. But I think just how the game played out, they scored on those first 2 drives. They did have their way with Carolina. After that, Carolina had their way with them.
Get the point? The extra point.
All right. We'll do the ticket giveaway in a minute. We have discovered that the phone lines were not switched over from last night. So if you tried calling and you didn't get it, we apologize. Long story, technical issues. We'll get that fixed. We'll do the ticket giveaway in a minute. Nobody won. Jen and I even noticed no phone calls came in. Like that was our
it's
first.
Like, okay, something's not right.
Yeah, we were like either everybody stopped listening to this program, or there's an issue, or nobody wants to go. So we'll do the ticket giveaway. We'll get the phone lines fixed here in just a second. We'll do that. First, let me tell you about Love Chevrolet.
We're just big teases, aren't we?
We are. We're nothing but a big tease. Yeah, it's just a fantastic job this morning. Let me tell you about Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. You can go visit them out there. Tell you what, they've been in business for over 60 years because they take care of the Midlands. They've taken care of families just like mine. They've made sure we're happy, that we're thrilled with our brand new purchase, because buying a truck, car, SUV, it should be a great experience nowadays. It should be something that you get excited about. It's like adding a new member to the family. That car, that truck, that SUV is going to be around with you for a while. You're going to make memories taking the kids to soccer practice, or maybe going on first dates, or whatever it may be. purchasing a new car, it is adding a member of the family, and you want it to be a neat buying experience. And at Love Chevrolet, they don't charge you above MSRP. They make sure you're knowledgeable, that you like what you're buying, and they do that because they have incredible salespeople. They have people that have been around at Love Chevrolet for over 20 years helping customers, just like you and I, make sure that they find the car, truck, or SUV they want. So go visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. Don't let buying a new car, truck, or SUV be a stressful experience. Go experience the best people in Columbia. They've done it for over 60 years, and I can guarantee you with the way they do it, they'll do it for another 60 years. Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
Up in Chapin, Amex Ferry Road at Bear Creek Road, we have a car versus deer incident, slowing things down a little bit. Also, I-77 northbound at Killian Road, an accident, and still working that earlier tie-up, Lorick Road near Highway 321. We are in a tropical storm watch. Going to be windy and cool today, a high of 69. Still going to be windy tonight. And then the rain arriving pretty much, sounds like right now, rain will be arriving overnight. So when you wake up in the morning, that's when you'll see it. Rain heavy at times tomorrow. Winds, sustained winds, still kind of guesstimating on that. It could be 25 to 35 miles an hour, but could see wind gusts up to 55, 60 miles an hour tomorrow. High of 61. The heavier rain moving in actually late in the tomorrow morning. Saturday, we'll see some scattered showers, windy, and a high of 72. Right now, though, it's kind of breezy out there, and it's 60. 107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Amazon Prime Video. The new era of Thursday Night Football is only on Prime Video. For the first time in 5 years, Philadelphia is #1 in my power rankings, and Jacksonville also makes the cut. Buffalo slips to second, followed by Green Bay, Miami, and Kansas City. Rounding out the top 10 are the Bucks, Ravens, Rams, Cowboys, and the aforementioned Jaguars. I'm Boomer Esiason.
The new era of Thursday Night Football is here, and it's only on Prime Video. Tonight, two of the NFL's biggest talents face off when Tyreek Hill and the Miami Dolphins head to Cincinnati to take on Joe Burrow and the defending AFC champion Bengals. Pre-game coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with TNF Tonight, delivered by Little Caesars. Not an Amazon Prime member? Sign up for a 30-day free trial to stream the game. It's the Dolphins and the Bengals, only on Prime Video. See Amazon.com/watchtnf for details.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. Looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell is the place for breakfast. Why? Because of the Bacon Breakfast Quesadilla. This quesadilla stuffed with fluffy eggs, crispy bacon, and a 3-cheese blend is here to complete your morning. Get your breakfast quesadilla at a participating Taco Bell location near you.
What QC Kinetics is doing for people here is nothing short of amazing. I'm talking real, lasting relief from joint pain. Hey, it's Bill Gunner, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in exciting new pain treatments with advanced regenerative medicine, non-surgical alternatives. If you're living with joint pain from an...
All right, yep. Yeah, I think you gotta. I think you got to.
Alternative way to deal with the pain. These amazing protocols work with pain caused by injury as well as torn meniscus or rotator cuff. Call QC Kinetics now, 803-281-6860. Don't keep living with that pain. Learn how regenerative medicine can give you your life back with no drugs and no surgery. Call UC Kinetics today for a free consultation. 803-281-6860. That's again 803-281-6860.
Sponsored by Mucinex Fast Max Cold and Flu all in one. Skip the symptoms, not the celebration. Celebrate comeback season with Mucinex Fast Max Cold and Flu all in one. Its maximum strength formula tackles up to 9 cold and flu symptoms. Try Mucinex all in one and get $5 cash back to celebrate your comeback. Visit fastmaxcashback.com to learn more.
Football season is upon us, and there's nothing better than watching your favorite team with company in a clean home. With over 1,800 Google reviews and a 4.9 star rating, Zero Rest Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning is the most highly reviewed cleaning company in the Midlands. Their patented no residue cleaning system gets your carpets, rugs, and upholstery insanely clean. Take advantage of the fall sale going on now. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119 when you mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game. Easily schedule your cleaning online at ZeroRestColumbia.com.
Titus and Tate, a podcast from two obsessed basketball lovers.
Donovan Mitchell is going to the Cavs. The Cavs are basically giving the Jazz everything. I need you to explain this to me. Anytime a trade is one guy for like 38 things, my brain is too stupid to like figure out who won.
I will say, you don't want to be the lose-lose trade, and I do think it could be a win-win. Oh, the Titus and Tate podcast, wherever you listen.
This update is sponsored by AAA Heating and Air, home of the $1,500 buyback. AAA Heating and Air must clear out its warehouse before new government efficiency regulations go into effect in 2023. No deals will be turned down. Call today to get a new unit tomorrow. 803-677-1500.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Time now for the old-timey meat market clip of the day. This past New Year's Day, we lost one of the great Gamecock slayers, one of the great Gamecock ambassadors, when Dan Reed passed.
Didn't hear from Larry. Well, that's odd, but this is
Yeah, no, I honestly thought that too when I came in and he wasn't on, and I was like,
No, he did.
no, he did. Honestly, when he was not waiting at 6, I thought, and then I thought maybe he's wising up and wants to get on later in the program, so I didn't think anything about it.
And then I was able to call JC. It's like, yeah, but I didn't call out.
Right. Yep.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. Stop by, shop online today, and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The early game. The early game. 107.5 The Game.
All right. Apologize for that little technical difficulty, but we're going to do the ticket giveaway right now. 803-404-6100. It is the Carolina Honda Powerhouse ticket giveaway. Carolina Honda Powerhouse, your source for Honda Power Sports. Visit carolinahonda.com. Caller number 5. I didn't hear you. Yeah. Okay. JC, you and I have done live radio. You've done plenty of live radio. Typically, when you ask for callers and you're giving away a family 4-pack of tickets to a football game and nobody calls, like the phone line, you realize there might be a mistake, or this might be one of your last shows because nobody's listening. I mean, Jen and I looked at the phone lines. Yeah. Yeah. Well.
I'm sure somebody will be interested. Like I said, I expect a pretty decent crowd tonight. I don't think it'll be as full as the first 3, but just because of the schedule change and people have to work and all that. But like I said, people are giving away tickets and trying to get tickets in the hands of fans and things like that. Certainly I think the response has been good. So hopefully somebody calls and wins those tickets.
Yeah, the phone lines have lit up, and I believe Jen is in the process of acquiring a winner. I mean, like I said, it's one thing, sometimes you give tickets away, and all right, 2 or 3 people, 4 people might call. We've had some ticket giveaways for other things in the past. Okay, some people, that strikes my fancy. I'll do that. When you give away football tickets and not a single person calls in, you all of a sudden go, something is amiss here. So we got that fixed, and Jen is in the process of acquiring a winner. So Christopher Scott. Good job, Mr. Scott, there on that. JC, I think you look at tonight, and as I sit here on Gervais Street now at 7:27, the wind is starting to whip pretty good. So you would assume that South Carolina is not going to be able to throw the football. Neither team really should be able to throw the football a whole lot tonight. Another reason why I don't just think that this thing gets completely out of hand with some of the scores predictions I'm seeing out there. I think it's a little bit more low scoring, a lot of running the football, kind of a quicker clock, and also something to keep an eye on tonight. Special teams, if you can get a stop, punting, any kind of kicking could be quite an adventure. You might not want to miss tonight. You might not, if somebody goes to punt or kick a field goal, you might not want to decide that's the time to do your bathroom break or grab an extra bag of chips or a new beverage, because you could get a Sports Center not top 10 in a special teams play.
Yeah, that's the thing about windy games. It's they're arguably tougher to play in than rain. I'm sure rain is much more uncomfortable for the players and coaches because you're wet and the field's wet and all that. But, especially for a passing attack, wind can kind of throw some errant balls. I mean, obviously, I think it's an advantage for South Carolina when you compare passing attacks, just because of Spencer Rattler's velocity that he throws the ball with. I mean, he can, depending on how fast the wind actually is, I think some mild wind, he can probably whip it right through there. But, if you're talking huge gusts, you just never know. But, I think South Carolina should come out and run the football. I think last week was rejuvenating. You talk about wanting to take vertical shots, and if it wasn't windy tonight, I would agree with that. I think that gets everybody excited. It gets people confident. Big plays and things like that. But I also think that continuing to get the offensive line going. Sorry about my dog.
That's all right.
There's a squirrel in the yard. And getting Marshawn Lloyd, keeping him going, and look, I'm looking at. We had another poll question up today this week, Bill. Will Christian Beal Smith get over 100 yards rushing? And I think if he gets enough carries, he possibly could. I mean, I was kind of impressed with the way, now that he's healthy, he ran the ball physically last week. Good to get him going too, while you head into this next stretch. So, I think we'll probably see, a lot of running again tonight by Carolina. They're much better on the line of scrimmage. They're bigger, stronger, more athletic on both sides than SC State. And I think when you talk about the Bulldogs, because I know you got a lot of Bulldogs fans that listen, so I want to talk about them. What does that do for Corey Fields? Hook it up with Shaquan Davis. If the wind's blowing like that, does that make that part of their offense somewhat neutralized this evening and allow for a Carolina defense that finally got some turnovers last week to get some, errant passes and picks and things of that nature. So that's the wind, I think, could be a storyline tonight, obviously, with a tropical storm / hurricane about to bear down on the coast.
JC Sherbert joining us as he does every Tuesday and Thursday. Coming up next, I'm going to ask him, there is a player besides Jaheim Bell that I think South Carolina needs to get going, and we'll kind of debate that guy, Jaheim Bell, because it is a night, again, before you go into Kentucky, where there's a few playmakers that maybe need to have a big game. Marshawn Lloyd got his last week. We'll talk about that. You're listening to JC Sherbert, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It is the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Our 15th anniversary celebration on 107.5 The Game
is sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, getting you better sooner.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5.
And it's Perry Road at Bear Creek Road, still working on earlier Deer, Harvest Deer.
Found after Highway 1, a report of an accident there. I-20 eastbound after Highway 378, also reporting an accident. I-77 northbound at Killian Road, and I-77 southbound at I-26, an accident there. Tropical storm watch in effect. It's going to be windy and cool today. A high of 69. Rain arriving overnight, it looks like right now. And we could get 3 to 6 inches in this system. But rain heavy at times tomorrow, especially later in the morning. And heavy winds tomorrow, high of 61. Windy, scattered showers for Saturday and a high of 72. Right now, though, it is windy and 61 at 107.5. The Game.
Hi, everybody. This is Woody Wyndham here to talk about Pioneer Tree Service. Pioneer Tree Service has more than 4 decades of helping homeowners maintain and manage trees on their property.
You're not taking calls while JC is on, correct?
That match your needs and budget. Tree trimming and tree removal can be dangerous. You need to trust the people that are doing the job. Before attempting to remove limbs, call Pioneer Tree Service for a free quote. They remove limbs safely and make sure that future growth is directed away from potential areas such as
He's not owned. It says own air.
Cutting down trees takes more than a chainsaw. Even branches can weigh thousands of pounds. Removal must be handled with care. Tree Service offers a full complement of state-of-the-art heavy equipment, from track hose to bucket trucks, to safely remove trees and stumps from your property. And no matter where you live, the Gantt girls can get there. And I want you to call them at 803-794-8253.
If you're dealing with injuries or pain, count on the experts at Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine to get you moving again. Our highly specialized physicians offer comprehensive care for patients at 5 convenient locations throughout the Midlands. Whether you're an athlete looking to return to your sport after injury or someone who needs help for knee, hip, elbow, shoulder, or foot pain, we're here for you. Our expert team can get you better sooner. Visit lexmed.com/ortho to learn more.
Guys, if you've been using or wanting to try Viagra but are worried about the cost, we have great news. You can finally get real results at huge discounts with the generic form of the little blue pill at TryMaleMD.com. That's right, you can now get the generic form of Viagra that works just the same with the same active ingredient but 90% cheaper. Yes, I said you can get the same results as Viagra but 90% cheaper. But you have to go to this exclusive address, TryMaleMD.com. Never pay pharmacy prices of $15 a pill or more. Get the same results for as little as $1.30 a pill. And get it 100% online at TryMaleMD.com. No expensive or awkward doctor's visits required. You really can have those breathtaking, toe-curling moments again and again. Results are guaranteed. Just go to TryMaleMD.com, answer a few simple questions, and your free 12-month prescription can be approved in just hours and shipped directly to your front door with free discreet rush shipping. Just go to TryMaleMD.com right now. We'll rush you your supply delivered discreetly to your door. Go to TryMaleMD.com. Go to TryMaleMD.com.
Hey, if you've got a hole in your roof or you need a whole new roof, you need to call Mid-State Roofing, 356-1919. For nearly a quarter of a century, Mid-State Roofing has established its reputation as the leader in the roofing industry. Whether it's above your head or at your feet, perhaps a leaky foundation, 356-1919 is the number to call for all your roofing and waterproofing needs. The quality and craftsmanship of a Mid-State roofing system are tops in the industry, especially commercial and industrial roofing systems. If you own or you're in charge of a large building, warehouse, or industrial facility, then you're in charge of that roof. And at some point, a roof is going to need some attention. So the number to call for advice, service, results, and a commitment to customer satisfaction is 356-1919. See all that Mid-State has to offer when you click on midstateroofing.com. Tell them, Mid-State twins.
If you have a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
356-1919, midstateroofing.com.
The Men's Clinic is devoted to your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Dr. Dan Botnight and his staff want to help you restore your low testosterone.
Some of the symptoms we find people relate to us at the Men's Clinic is lack of drive, brain fog, not sleeping well, lack of energy, sex drive, just general drive at work, at play, at home. After you've been in the Men's Clinic, and we tailored your treatment for you and got you to the best levels you can be, the brain fog goes away. People think clearer, sleep better, recover from exercise better. overall sense of drive is much better.
My relationship with my wife has always been a good relationship, but since I've been on this treatment plan, remarkably, surprisingly, it's gotten better.
Men's clinic is awesome. Come see us at the men's clinic. You'll find our clinic non-threatening, comfortable, open to hear your concerns. I know a lot of guys out there don't want to go to the doctor. I think you'll find our clinic's a little different than most clinics that you come see. So please give us a call and check us out online, mensclinicsc.com. We'd love to see you.
Sponsored by South Carolina Education Lottery. The Mega Millions jackpot for Friday is $355 million. Be sure to stop by your local South Carolina Education Lottery retailer and get your ticket today. See educationlottery.com for jackpot odds in a store near you.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
We're rolling along on a Thursday morning, game day. That's right. It is game day in Carolina as the Gamecocks and the South Carolina State Bulldogs will square off tonight, 7 o'clock. If you are wondering, you can catch it. If you don't go, you can catch it right here on 107.5 The Game, but you can also watch it on the SEC network. It'll be on regular SEC network. So all you got to do is find your local SEC network station on whatever streaming device you have or cable system or whatever, and you'll be able to watch the game tonight. One of the guys that JC, I think they've got to get going a little bit. We talked about Jaheim Bell. Marshawn Lloyd had his week last week, and I want to see Marshawn with another 100-yard game tonight. The weather and everything seems to lend itself to that. But I do think you've got to get Juju McDowell with a couple big plays. That's a guy that maybe we haven't talked about enough this year that has playmaking ability. He hit some big runs last year. Without him, maybe the field goal against East Carolina doesn't happen. Juju McDowell is the guy tonight that I look at that maybe it's a swing pass out of the backfield or some kind of screen over the middle of the field, or maybe it's just a simple handoff. I think Juju McDowell's got to be a little bit more of a part of this offense.
Well, he's been getting carries. I mean, he gets touches. You look at his numbers, and he's second on the team in carries. He was leading the team in rushing heading into last week, and scored a touchdown against Charlotte. I'd like to see him get on the perimeter a little more.
Yeah.
On the outside. You remember the mayonnaise bowl. He had that big run on the outside, and they did some things with him where they threw him the ball. It looked like a pass, but it was really a rushing attempt. It was behind the line of scrimmage and got him really going. They used kind of last week the receivers in that manner with those little outside perimeter plays. And, I think that's kind of what Juju's good at. I think, Xavier Legette's had a pretty good year returning kickoffs when he gets the opportunity. These days of college football, it's touchback city. But he's done well. But, I thought Juju's probably, not just a good, but a great kickoff returner. And I don't know if he's been back there and the ball's just gone to XL or what. But, I think he's a guy. Bell would be at the top of my list with that. I've said that for 2 years, though. So it's just one of those things. And I just don't think he's a tight end. I mean, I think you can use him at tight end, but I think you got to move him around and get him involved in the passing game. I know a lot of people weren't extremely fired up about him running the ball from scrimmage, but heck, I don't see a problem with doing it 3 or 4 times. I mean, at all. I think because you look at sort of his career, and people forget he had a 67-yard touchdown run called back against Eastern Illinois last year. The guy can move. I mean, he's a weapon, and his lack of touches has been baffling in a lot of ways this season. And I know they have a lot more playmakers this year than last year, but his lack of touches last year was also baffling. So, if I had one guy that I kind of circle and go, hey, it'd be great to get him going. If you're the Gamecocks, it would definitely be Jaheim. To a lesser extent, Austin Stogner too, kind of remaining at that position. I know, kind of with the way they're trying to run the ball, they got Nate Atkins out there a lot, kind of playing a fullback H-back type of guy, and he's a great blocker. So, maybe that's ate into Austin's ability, but I'd like to see him get vertical because I think that's what he was really good at Oklahoma, is going down the field, catching jump balls, going across the middle, and we just haven't seen that, a lot this year. So Stogner will probably be like right there. And then, of course, you kind of feel bad for Josh Vann last week with a big punt return for a TD, and then it gets called back. And, what else could go wrong for him this year? And it stinks because he had such a great year last year. But, to that point, you got to produce, when you go out and you bring in a Juice Wells. Jalen Brooks is playing like his hair's on fire and great and consistent. And you can't say enough good about him. And Amarian Brown's improved. And, you've got tight ends and other people, if you don't produce, you're probably not going to, get the opportunities that you thought you may. So Van's kind of a given. Put him on that list every week from here forward, and just hopefully he can get going. Because he probably could have at least gotten an undrafted free agent deal and ended up on a practice squad last season had he left. And you just really don't want him to, have a terrible experience and not produce his final year at Carolina.
Where does Corey Rutgers start to fit in all this? Because this is here's the thing. I actually think it's not. This is the new way of college football, right? Like, South Carolina didn't do a great job in the wide receiver recruiting in the previous class. Landon Sampson was kind of the more herald guy. This year they've got Kelton Henderson, a speedster out of Florida. But they've still kind of lacked. They missed on Antonio Williams. They missed on the Great House kid out of Texas in this class. I think I didn't see where Tyler Williams chose the other night. But I guess my point is, but to me, the wide receiving room is actually a lot deeper and better than maybe people are willing to or want to admit. You just mentioned Jaheim Bell. I don't think the passing game has struggled because he hasn't gotten the ball. Juice Wells has been good. Jalen Brooks has been fantastic. You said hair on fire. Jalen Brooks is making some really difficult catches and has really stepped up in that role. Amarian Brown has come along, and now Corey Rutgers catches the long touchdown pass and looks like he's back. How do you fit some of these guys in? It's just a process of elimination. There's one football and a lot of receivers.
Yeah, I mean, that's useful. A lot of modern offenses have that. I mean, and Justin Stepp and Taylor Edwards and those guys in the recruiting office have flipped the room in a year through the portal. I think, I think that's, people talk about Josh Vann's production. Well, there's a reason. He hasn't been as good as the other guys. Period. That's the bottom line. Everybody probably like to see more opportunities. Sorry. Red is the dog. Red does not agree on the Josh Vann thing. Red was very upset with that Josh Vann take. He's a little ticked off about that, but that's just how it goes. Now you mentioned Corey Rutgers. I thought Corey's a good interview. In the press conference this week, I thought it was interesting. He just straight up admitted he wasn't in good shape. He's out of shape because of the foot injury. And so, as far as he, I think when you got a guy trying to work his way back, a game like tonight could be good because he can go out there and get reps and all that. But if he's tired and can't go very long, obviously, I think we're looking at more of like maybe a Texas A&M type of date where you could see him really get out there. But he's talented. I mean, he's really, really good. Juice is really, really good. You mentioned Jalen. The thing that impresses me about Jalen too is he's a bigger kid, and he's got good speed. And obviously, the hand situation, that the drops aren't happening this year. I don't want to jinx it, but he's playing really physical. Running through tackles, breaking tackles, getting upfield. I mean, he's just been really impressive. But as far as recruiting goes, I'll say this: I don't think, I don't think losing Tyler Williams to Georgia. Tyler caught 11 passes last year, by the way. He's just a big, fast kid. And then Greathouse, a kid from Austin, Texas, to Notre Dame is are big misses in recruiting.
Right.
I think Antonio Williams certainly was, although we kind of know the story there. It was sort of preordained. He was going to Clemson as soon as they offered, and he had a good game on Saturday, certainly. But, if you look at the history of receivers, and there's been a lot of good ones that have come through Carolina, most of those kids, Bill, with a few exceptions, Kenny McKinley is from Georgia, Pharaoh Cooper obviously is from North Carolina. You kind of look at Ace Sanders was from Florida, but most of them have come from in-state, and a lot of them haven't even been 4 stars. People forget about Sidney Rice was a 3-star. There were like serious questions about his speed. Clemson didn't take him. That was right after 63-17. He almost went to Syracuse so he could play basketball, and look how good he was. Alshon Jeffrey was probably the highest rated one. Bruce Ellington was a basketball prospect. Nick Jones, I think, was a 2-star guy. I forgot Demir Bird from New Jersey, obviously, who's still in the NFL. But, it hasn't been, the wide receiver tradition here hasn't necessarily been a bunch of elite out-of-state guys. It's been, the in-state guys. And it's been good. So the state has not produced, in the couple of cycles Beamer's been here, a bunch of, elite prospects. I think Kylie Horton's going to be good. I think that he's coming from 8-man football. So what do you do? So, you kind of look at it like that. And, in these years where it's down in the state, and then you go fight your battles and maybe you don't win them, you got to go hit the portal. And I think, the Juice Wells recruitment, I think is the perfect thing, because that guy's just as good as any 4 or 5-star receiver you're going to go sign out of high school, period. Bottom line, full stop. He's really, really good. And so as long as you can get players, I don't think it matters where they come from. And certainly when you look at this receiving core, a lot of transfers in there, I remember everybody's outraged because Jalen Brooks came from Wingate, and look at him now.
Yeah.
So, I think people have to adjust their mindset a little bit that when they follow recruiting that, hey, it's not like it used to be. It's talent acquisition. And, you may miss on a kid from Austin or a kid from Lakeland or wherever, but there hasn't been a lot of in-state guys. The big miss was Antonio, but, you got to wait for that to cycle back up, and you'll be fine. And in the meantime, continue to recruit the Juice Wells and Jalen Brooks and Corey Ruckers of the world out of the portal.
We'll continue this and get JC's final thoughts when we return. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
Game time with Heath Klein.
It drives home again how far this program has to go to get back to where people eventually want it to be. It's not going to be one recruiting class, even if it's a really good recruiting class. And you have to eventually figure out a way, if you're ever going to get this thing back where you want it to be, you can at least see some possible answers in the future on defense. But in the matchup that mattered, you never got past the 20. And that is not all about talent. I'm sorry, that's not. Defense, a lot of it was about talent. You just didn't have enough to reasonably match up. What exactly at its core do they want to do? We don't have a good answer for Marcus Satterfield.
3 to 6 p.m. on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. 107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
We have a report of a vehicle fire, Industrial Drive at South Lake Drive. So approach that area with caution if you would. I-20 westbound before White Pond Road, car versus deer incident. You'll also find one Amex Ferry Road at Bear Creek Road. Have an accident I-20 eastbound at Highway 378 as well as at Highway 1. And then an accident Highway 1 at I-77. Forecast for today, going to be windy. A little bit, feel kind of cool with that wind. High of 70. Heavy rain should be coming in overnight, and then the gusty winds. Potential severe weather definitely is possible tomorrow. High tomorrow 64, and the rain continues into the early part of Saturday. Right now, though, windy, and it's 61 at 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Indeed.com. As the leaves change, leave the hiring to Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Life matters. I was in touch with an old college buddy today. His dad passed away, and I was expressing my sympathies. We were close in school, but we live on opposite sides of the country, so life and distance haven't allowed our friendship to function as we'd like. One thing about us, though, when we do see each other, we have the type of friendship that just picks up where we left off, even if years have passed. I've often thought that God is that kind of friend, too. Obviously, He wants to always be close to each of us. But if we've wandered or gotten busy, He loves us so much that He's willing to draw close immediately and become the best friend we have. Maybe it's been a while, but why not give Him some time today? I think you'll be glad that you did. This is Stephen Chitty from Christian Life in Columbia, reminding you that life matters, and so do you. Go to clcolumbia.com for in-person and live streaming service times.
I can walk again. I can cross my legs again. I can wear heels again.
After years of living with chronic joint pain, Andrea Southard is now living a normal life, pain-free, thanks to natural biologic treatments at QC Kinetics.
We tried everything. And my husband had heard the commercial for QC Kinetics on the radio, and he told me to call him and check it out.
That phone call changed Andrea's life. QC Kinetics used powerful natural biologics to treat her aching joints. It's high-tech precision medicine that can restore and repair damaged joint tissue with no surgery and no drugs, providing lasting relief.
I felt like I was in my 20s again. I could tie my own shoes. Really the little things that you don't think about.
Pain in your hips, knees, back, shoulders? Get rid of the pain now. Call QC Kinetics.
803-281-6860. That's 803-281-6860. QC Kinetics, 803-281-6860.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, dirt, and germs, and it's why nose cleaning is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, allergies, snoring, things that make
hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they also find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Nearly 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, 4.7 stars, saying it's like the best product I've ever used. And amazing, I love my Navage. That's because Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Here's the key point. Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthy. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning, the most trusted and reviewed cleaning company in town. Take advantage of their fall sale going on now. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaning for only $119 when you mention me, Bill Gunner, 107.5 The Game. Easily schedule your cleaning online at ZeroResColumbia.com.
Hey, this is Ray Nathan with Pope Davis Tire and Automotive.
It's time to kick off football season.
And time to kick off our fall Michelin special.
Hey, Dad, let's Michelin's at cost. Customer pays what we pay.
Michelin Rest would never approve that.
Surprise! It's not a penalty if they don't see it.
Any other surprises?
Well, I guess I should say thanks for the raise.
Oh, no. You get a pay cut while we're selling Michelin's at cost.
What?
Michelin tires at cost.
Only at Pope Davis Tire and Automotive.
It's football season, and every football season, come to campus and catch a game. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game. Find your tickets online at GamecocksOnline.com.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 105 The Game.
What?
Shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
What was that? Say that again.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
final about 2 minutes here with JC Sherbert as we wrap up hour number 2 on a Thursday. And all right, let's kind of finish this up. Your thoughts and a slight, since I totally forgot to send you predictions last week. My fault on that. Your prediction for kind of tonight and how you see this going.
Going to come out and try to control the line of scrimmage. You know, I don't know if you read too much into rumors or not, but it sounded plausible that SC State would try to stack the box. And so that could be a challenge because, you know, they've got athletes and things like that. But I think defensively, you know, South Carolina has to, you know, keep Corey Fields and Shaquan Davis from, you know, hooking up. SC State's not that great at running the football. You know, they're not, they're more of a pass-oriented football team. So the run defense for Carolina, you know, should be good tonight. And this is also an SC State team that gave up 602 yards to UCF at the beginning of the year. So, you know, how good are they on defense? I know they shut down Bethune-Cookman, but then North Carolina A&T went up, you know, 41-27 on them and beat them by that score. So, you know, I think there's some opportunity to get out there and have another get-right game and then, you know, rest up, continue to get healthy, and get ready to go to Lexington next week. I think we'll know more about the Wildcats certainly after this weekend. They're a very hard team to figure out because I think the national media has completely, you know, overrated Florida because they're intrigued with Anthony Richardson. They discounted the fact Tennessee doesn't have a great defense, and you know that game against Utah was really good. But Florida's two plays away against USF, not a very good USF team, and a Utah from being 0-4. So I think we're going to find out against a good undefeated Ole Miss team how good Kentucky really is, and then we'll reassess next week as we always do.
Look forward to it. We'll get you back on Tuesday morning. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Hopefully Red is able to provide a few more insights as you continue your other show later today and get us into the weekend. Buddy, appreciate you joining us each and every week.
Hey, thanks, Bill. Have a good weekend, and everybody stay safe down there.
Appreciate it. JC Sherbert. Make sure you check out thebigspur.com and his NIL, Carolina Rise. We'll get more into that next week. Got a whole nother hour ahead of us. Coming up, Brian Edwards, a Vegas insider, at 8:20, and then Kerry Tharp at 8:45. We got a lot to do. Hour 3 is on the way. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It's the early game. 107.5 The Game.
Celebrating our 15th anniversary. It's Columbia's Sports Talk Station. Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
A Cumulus Media Station.
Government regulations for HVAC systems are changing in 2023. What does that mean for you? It means the time to save is right now. Contact AAA Heating and Air, who must clear out their warehouse to make room for these new regulated systems. No deals will be turned down. Plus, you get a 15-year part and labor warranty, guaranteed financing. Anyone can get a brand new HVAC system as soon as tomorrow. That's AAA Heating and Air at 803-677-1500. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air, when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Between business life, social life, and her best bud Loki, Beverly has a lot to focus on, especially while fighting Stargardt, a blinding retinal disease. But she's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Beverly, winning the fight means focusing on what's closest to her. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure for fast, powerful nighttime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine.
Hi, my name is John, and I'm self-employed, and we got sidetracked on our taxes at the 2008 recession.
and it became a monster that we couldn't tackle ourselves. We heard about the Ecton Law Firm on the radio and contacted John. If you could classify someone as a miracle worker, I would put him at the top of the list because he took our problem and resolved it for us with our not only our unpaid taxes, but our unfiled tax returns from previous years. And I would highly recommend the Ecton Law Firm.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be
Employee onboarding?
Automated.
Customer support?
Automated.
What if you could automate all your company's routine operation tasks and do it easily? Lead management.
Automated.
With Zapier, you can. Zapier is the leader in no-code automation. Connect over 5,000 apps, automate almost any workflow, and streamline your team's performance without hiring a developer and with no coding required. That's right. Zapier's templates make it simple for you to automate anything in minutes, no matter your level of expertise. Zapier eliminates routine tasks and frees your employees to focus on the bigger picture. And with Zapier's advanced security features and annual SOC 2 audits, your data is safe and secure. See why thousands of companies, including Slack, Salesforce, and HubSpot, trust Zapier to automate their businesses. Even complex tasks?
Automated with Zapier.
Try Zapier for free today at zapier.com/radio. That's ZAPIER.com/radio. Zapier.com/.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet, your trusted family-owned dealer.
We're going to do the keyword here.
Love Chevy, I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads.
The early game with Bill Gunter.
So we have Bill doing some housekeeping right now. It's pretty fantastic. I'm like, a little to the left, a little to the left, a little to the right, up a little bit more.
And Jen Jensen.
Decorating the studio at 6:37 in the morning. You're listening to Bill Gutter and Jen Jensen. If you're watching on the live stream, you're seeing us entertain ourselves by trying to move a flag around and get it stuck to the wall, and that led to.
But then the right goes down a little bit. It's like you gotta get it level.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
You're not gonna believe this.
107.5.
He killed 16 Czechoslovakians. Guy was an interior decorator.
The Game.
It's time for your chance to win $100 and qualify for the $25,000 grand prize in our $25,000 signing bonus contest. Just text the following national keyword to 95819. Your national keyword to text is cash.
CASH. Cash. Like you got cash money. CASH. Cash.
Text that national keyword to 95819. Standard text messaging rates may apply. Please don't text and drive. The $25,000 signing bonus contest on 107.5 The Game.
Final hour on a Thursday game day. Basically, we've started the pregame shows just at 6 a.m. It's a huge game. South Carolina State. All right, South Carolina about a 37.5 to 39.5 point favorite, depending on where you look at. But here at 107.5 The Game, we take it seriously. We bring our A game. We give you 13 hours. Is that right? 7 games at 7. We start at 6. We started at 6. That's 6. That's another 7. 13 hours. 13-hour game day show.
Yes.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at how I arrived at that.
You took your shoes off and everything.
Yeah. It was well, it's 10-3. Yeah, I only had to take one shoe off, Jen. But no, it's we're getting you up and going. Brian Edwards will join us here in about 16 minutes. We'll have Kerry Tharp in about 40 minutes, and then Pearson Fowler, and then we'll start our game day coverage. We'll start our game day coverage at 2:00 today. Heath Klein and Terry Ford with the Carolina game day coverage right here on 107.5 The Game, and we'll count down till tonight's game against South Carolina State. Be back tomorrow morning. Patrick Perrette. Patrick was kind of fired up when I talked to him this week. He's like, we get to recap the game the day after. Fresh thoughts. I was like, yeah, that's how it's going to work. So We will get to all that, but certainly this morning been taking a lot of predictions. You look at the weather, and it doesn't look like, if you haven't heard Jen this morning, if you're just getting in your car and you haven't heard Jen, she said that as of now it looks like the rain will move in after the game. So it looks like it's just going to be windy. And as I sit here on Gervais Street right now, it's fairly windy. I don't know what that does for the passing game for either side. And you heard J.C. Sherbert there in the previous hour saying that, the intel is that South Carolina State will stack the box and try and make South Carolina beat them with the vertical passing game. Look, I flip the ball out on the perimeter. Flip it out. One thing that South Carolina does have to improve upon, watch tonight if South Carolina has plays where it's just screens out on the perimeter. Watch how the wide receivers block. They have been very bad, and that's being kind of an understatement, in blocking on the perimeter. And we've talked a lot about the offensive line and, pass blocking or run blocking. But tonight, if South Carolina tries to throw some just screens out to the perimeter, just quick, get the ball out of Spencer Rattler's hands, the so-called extension of the running games where you're just flipping it out and letting a guy try and make one guy miss and then maybe break a tackle and take off. Watch the blocking on the perimeter, because that's where South Carolina has really struggled. And I could see South Carolina tonight, if South Carolina State wants to stack the box and get up and slow the run game, just take advantage of South Carolina's got some size at wide receiver. We kind of talked about that at times. When you look at Antoine Wells and Jalen Brooks in particular, those are bigger physical wide receivers. Wells around 6'1", 210. Jalen Brooks is not a small guy either. He's got some size to him at 6'2", 210. Again, these are not the Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Gurley 6'5", 225 kind of guys. I get that. But South Carolina's got a little bit of size out there when they line up. Jaheim Bell's not a small guy either. So all I'm saying is tonight, if that's the direction South Carolina goes, keep an eye on that blocking on the perimeter, because South Carolina shouldn't just manhandle South Carolina State at the point of attack. They should be able to do it as well on the perimeter to open up some of those quick pass plays. So we will kind of see how all that plays out tonight. But I think it lends itself to more of a low-scoring game as opposed to the 30. Again, I'm looking at it. WinBet Sportsbook has it at 37.5. Caesar Sportsbook at 39.5. So you get the point there. There's a little bit of not a true consensus on the game, but we'll kind of see how it all works out tonight. I'd probably take South Carolina State. I don't know if South Carolina wins this thing by 40, but we'll see. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in this morning. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Gamecock Larry wants to weigh in this morning. Hadn't heard from him yet, and I'm sure he's got a prediction. How you doing, Larry?
I'm doing okay. I've been trying to call since 3:30 this morning.
Phone line's stopping you. Yeah, phone lines. They ain't had enough.
Okay, no problem. You done made me. Okay, I don't think we're going to need any field goals tonight. Every time we get in the red zone, we're going to score a touchdown. It's going to be 45-10. 45-10 Gamecocks. Oh, Root Hall called, guess sometime. Anyway, I tried to answer him, but I couldn't understand what he was saying. But he said something about, Earl the Pearl. Oh, no. What's it? Wildcat Earl. I told him don't talk about Wildcat Earl until Monday morning. That's when we go talk some trash about Wildcat Earl. Well, boy, y'all have a good, no, the boy spot. I might call in the boy. I started to say have a good weekend. Have a good day. Be safe. Love all y'all. Go Gamecocks. 45-10.
45-10. I will say, the Wildcat Earl thing caught me. I didn't know if he was talking about Earl the Pearl. I wasn't sure where we were going, but I remember that now. That rings a bell. So yeah, we'll catch up with Gamecock later tomorrow. Certainly, tomorrow you're you're hoping this isn't a burn it down show where something wild and crazy has happened tonight and taken all momentum away from Shane Beamer's program. But you hope that we're coming in here and analyzing a victory and looking ahead to next week with Kentucky, and also looking ahead to a fun weekend for college football. Again, I'm actually really excited about this particular weekend for college football. So it'll be interesting to see. And again, tonight, let me see here. Brian Edwards coming up in just a second, and we'll get to him. We are in just the next segment. We'll get to him as it pertains to other games for the coming weekend, as he'll do his weekly segment. But just glancing real quick here, if I can find it, I just had it in front of me. The total for tonight is set at 55.5 at Caesars, 56 at the Wynn Sportsbook. So 55.5 and 56 tonight. I think the Wynn's going to wreak havoc. I think it's going to be a lot of running plays, and I also think South Carolina pulls, if they can get the lead that you expect them to have, 24-31-0. I think they pull the starters there and early on. It will be interesting to see how much Luke Doty plays, but also some of the other quarterbacks. If you want to get Colton Gauthier some snaps, if you want to get Tanner Bailey some snaps, remember there is still technically that red shirt rule. So if you want to get one of the freshman quarterbacks, Bailey or Braden Davis or one of those guys, it will be interesting to see if South Carolina can get them. That is something I would like to see tonight. Get some quarterbacks multiple snaps and kind of go from there. 803-404-6100. When we come back, we'll be joined by Brian Edwards, a Vegas insider. We got some picks to give you for the weekend. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
The Halftime Show with Jay, Terry, and Tommy. Noon to 3 on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
It's, it was chillier this morning. Now, there's a reason for that. Obvious little storm coming in, windy. But it made me start thinking about making sure my heating portion of the heating and air unit is working. I don't want to get caught. You heard me talking about it earlier. As I get older, cold weather does not sit well with me. Having the house where it's not warm enough, that is absolutely miserable. And that's why I've already turned to AAA Heating and Air, making sure they come out, do a little inspection, that everything's working properly. And right now, if you want to do an inspection, give them a phone call, 803-677-1500. Again, that's 803-677-1500. But I'm telling you what, right now, they've got an incredible deal going on. You've heard me talking about it. Government regulations for HVAC systems, they're changing in 2023. And that means right now, AAA Heating and Air must clear out their warehouse to make room for these new regulated systems. And no deals will be turned down. And the absolute best part, AAA Heating and Air guarantees financing. So give them a phone call today and start that process. You can actually get new comfort in your home as soon as tomorrow. 803-677-1500. Call AAA Heating and Air. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. Check out these great deals they have on existing heating and air units. These will be gone after the end of 2022, so you want to take advantage of this deal now. 803-677-1500. Call AAA Heating and Air. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
Highway 1 at Clemson Road. There is an accident there. Also find one I-20 eastbound after exit 58 and also at exit 61. So that's on I-20 eastbound. I-20 westbound before White Pond Road, we have a car versus deer incident. And Industrial Drive at South Lake Drive, working an earlier vehicle fire. So caution as you approach that area. We're under a tropical storm watch. Windy and cool today, high of 69. That rain coming in, sounds like right now it's coming in overnight. Could see 3 to 6 inches of rain from this system. And then tomorrow, rain heavy at times, especially starting late morning. Winds could be 25 to 35 miles an hour. Could see some gusts up to 55 or 60. Again, that's all subject to change. High tomorrow, 61. Windy, scattered showers primarily in the morning on Saturday, high of 72. Right now, though, it is windy. 61 at 107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Science with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Prevagen. The offensively challenged Bears barely made this week's Feeble 5 at number 28. Then come the Jets, who now return to Zach Attack mode. But hold on to those receipts, folks. The Raiders are too talented to be 0-3, while the Seahawks have an obvious talent hole under center. Finally, the Texans just can't seem to win a close one. I'm Boomer Science. CBS Sports Radio.
Steve is a real Prevagen user and paid testimonialist.
Hi, I'm Steve, and I live in Austin, Texas. I work as a personal assistant to the owner of a large manufacturing firm. I've I've got anywhere from 10 to 50 projects going at any given time. I absolutely have to be sharp. 5 years ago is when I started to notice I started making mistakes. My memory was not nearly as sharp as it had been. I was confiding in my friend about the problems I was having with my memory, and she said, Stephen, you've got to try Prevagen. After a period of time of taking Prevagen, my memory was getting better, and I started to feel a much better sense of well-being. If you're experiencing what I was experiencing, try it. I really believe that it's going to have tremendous effects for you, just like it did for me.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Prevagen is available in stores everywhere. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who were cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Sponsored by Staples Stores. Recycle your old technology free during Staples Free Tech Take Back. Items like old modems, mice, and mobile phones, or cables, calculators, and camcorders. Staples Rewards members get $5 back in rewards. Exclusions apply. Limit 1 reward per month. Visit staples.com/recycling. Recycle at Staples.
Football season is upon us, and there's nothing better than watching your favorite team with company in a clean home. With over 1,800 Google reviews and a 4.9 star rating, Zerorest Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning is the most highly reviewed cleaning company in the Midlands. Their patented no residue cleaning system gets your carpets, rugs, and upholstery.
There's a fall sale going on now. Get 3 rooms apartment for only $119. If you mention me, Bill Gunner, 107.5 The Game. Easily schedule your cleaning online at ZerorestColumbia.com.
So many people here are getting real lasting joint pain relief.
The lake was extremely windy this morning. I agree with that. I got my boat out the other day, and it was crazy.
Uses cutting-edge regenerative medicine, biologics, precision treatments that can restore and repair damaged.
It was extremely windy. All right, let's see.
No meds, no steroids, no drugs, and no downtime.
I got a very quick resolution to my pain.
It is an all-natural therapy. You're using you to fix you.
I got my life back. I got my smile back. And best of all, I got my laugh back.
Don't live with that pain anymore. And don't let them tell you surgery is your only option. Learn more about regenerative options from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultations.
Call QC Kinetics, 803-281-6860. That's
Yeah, no, I took the boat out. Most of the people where I'm at have taken theirs out. It was starting to get rocky this morning. Yeah, I'm not on big water. I've got a little bit of protection, but I mean, I'm staring straight at the dam. And if this wind comes in northeast, whew. If the wind is projecting it comes in northeast, it'll rip up the docks. All right. $8:18 on a game day Thursday here in the state of South Carolina. South Carolina State and South Carolina set to do battle 7 o'clock tonight over at Williams-Brice Stadium. Will be a windy Williams-Brice Stadium. Might want to pack a sweatshirt, a parka, something to stay a little warm. I got a feeling it's going to be a little chilly. That's a good thing. That's a great thing that we have a game tonight, because I'm telling you what, this weekend is, to me, the best weekend of college football we have had yet. The 3:30 slate is great. The early game, you got a fantastic game early on with Kentucky and Mississippi. And joining me now to give the picks for the weekend and break it all down, Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com. And Brian, I feel like I've been gifted an opportunity to sit and watch a ton of football, not just because South Carolina's game got moved, but because our soccer tournament got canceled. So I don't have to leave the house on Saturday. Hopefully you're looking forward to it just as much as I am.
I certainly am. Good for you. Sounds like you got a lot of bets and ball games on your Saturday menu.
We're looking. So we're interested to hear what you've got to look at this weekend. I see you've got plenty of them right here in front of me. And let's go right to the SEC, and that one that I just mentioned, the noon game in Oxford. This one's fascinating, man. I'm interested. Mainly South Carolina has Kentucky on deck. And now the fact that South Carolina will have an extra 48 hours to prepare for the Wildcats, I think makes it a little bit more interesting. This is also a big test for Lane Kiffin as he continues to try and work his quarterback situation out. And you like the Wildcats in this, but the spread on this game is what's a little interesting for a top 10 team.
Yeah, I like Kentucky here. I made Ole Miss a 3.5-point favorite, and we can get Kentucky at 7. That sounds beautiful to me. Since losing back-to-back games to Alabama and Florida in 2020, Kentucky has gone 16-3 straight up in its last 19 games. Their ground attack is set to get a big lift with the season debut of Chris Rodriguez, who was second-team All-SEC at running back last year when he ran for 1,379 yards, 9 touchdowns, and averaged 6.1 yards per carry. This is a revenge game for Kentucky. At home 2 years ago, in the second game of the season, they had an overtime game in Lexington with Ole Miss. Ole Miss scored a touchdown. Kentucky answered, but Kentucky missed the extra point, and Lane Kiffin got his first win as a Rebel, 42-41 over Kentucky. I think we've got the quarterback advantage with Will Levis completing 67.5% of his passes for 1,185 yards, 10-4 TDI and T ratio, and 3 rushing touchdowns. And in their last 3 games as road underdogs, the Cats are 3-0 against the spread with 2 outright wins. So give me Kentucky +7. And I'm not against putting a little baby play on the Cats +230 on the money line.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Mark Stoops, this is another game. I can see him now. He's up there. He's telling everybody how disrespected they are. They finally get into the top 10, and they go on the road in a full touchdown underdog in Oxford. Again, that'll be the other thing to keep an eye on that. Mississippi, did you see Lane Kiffin's response yesterday about the crowd? And I don't know if it was yesterday. Yesterday was Wednesday. About the crowd in Oxford. We might see if we can pull that audio for tomorrow. Lane Kiffin really upset with the Mississippi crowd for basically going back to the parking lot at halftime and not coming back. It's an 11 a.m. kick. I don't know what kind of home field advantage that will be for Mississippi.
Yeah, I mean, they like to enjoy their libations in the Grove, especially, when they're just getting the blood flowing that early in the morning. And so I hope that they are getting their drink on and late arriving. And if they leave at halftime and don't want to come back, that works for me as well.
Let's stay in the SEC for the weekend. Another top 20 battle. Arkansas, and this is just interesting. Arkansas was number 10 last week. They kick one off the very top of the upright that ends up costing them the game. There was also a 97-yard fumble return by Texas A&M. Arkansas really could have kind of put Texas A&M away, yet they get 17.5 at home against an Alabama team who has only had one challenge on the road, or one challenge at all this year, and they needed a Bryce Young Heisman moment to pull that out.
And a lot more than that. They needed some generous calls. They needed Quinn Ewers to get injured. Had no business winning that game. I made Alabama a 14-point favorite here. Arkansas has been a home underdog 6 times under Sam Pittman, 4-2 against the spread with 3 outright wins. All those outright wins were by double-digit margins, including that beatdown of Texas last year. I did not downgrade the Razorbacks at all after last week. I thought they completely outplayed A&M. That was a critical mistake by KJ Jefferson that you mentioned on the fumble, but I think he'll make up for it. That was at least, because A&M missed the extra point, that was at least a 9-point swing, probably a 13-point swing. I said that rather than 10 and 14 because they missed that PAT. But whatever the case, maybe that makes Arkansas even more dangerous this week. I think they're going to give Alabama all at once, just like they did last year. They only lost 42-35 in Tuscaloosa and easily covered as a 20.5 point underdog last season. I'm not going to call for the outright upset, but it's not going to shock me. I hope Bill O'Brien comes to Fayetteville like he did Austin, and it's got all that pre-snap motion nonsense that I thought greatly attributed those 11 first-half penalties when Alabama was at Texas a few weeks back. I like Arkansas plus the points and will not be shocked if they pull a stunner here.
So if you're keeping track right now, the games that Brian likes, Kentucky plus the 7, Arkansas plus the 17.5. Follow him on Twitter and ask him any questions at Vegas B. Edwards. He is the senior handicapper for Vegas Insider, and you can check him out on majorwager.com. Make that part of your Saturday morning reading there before you make any plays. Let's go to the Big 12. Another really good one, 3:30, top 16 game. Baylor is now at Baylor's at number 16 after that loss to BYU, but they bounced back last week. They got Iowa State in Ames, and now they get Oklahoma State, and this is one that you're keeping a close eye on.
Yeah, I made Baylor 3.5 point favorite. Now, it's a favorable spot situation, whatever you want to call it, for Oklahoma State because they've had 2 weeks to prepare, and Baylor's coming off a tough game in Ames, but a victory nonetheless. And Oklahoma State also has a revenge angle from that heartbreaker in the Big 12 championship game. But I think all that's already been built into the line. Getting Baylor below 3, I think that makes it an easy choice. Quarterback Blake Shapen, 69 of 100, obviously a 69% completion percentage, 773 passing yards, 7-to-1 TDI-INT ratio. He now has a 12-to-1 career TDI-INT ratio. I think we'll have a great defensive plan with Dave Aranda, and I think that Baylor will get it done at home, laying the short number.
Let's go to the Pac-12 now. Cal plus the 4 at Wazoo. Cal won us a little bit of money earlier this year when you had them going to Notre Dame, and they were able to cover there on the road in South Bend. You got them again this weekend at Wazoo.
And by the way, that referee that had that garbage offsides call and that controversial loss for Cal at Notre Dame, he did get suspended last week as he deserved. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Hey, look here, Gunner. This is an automatic play for me. Until I lose betting Cal as a road underdog under Justin Wilcox, I'm going to keep betting them. Cal is 14-1 against the spread. Its last 15 as a road underdog. They bounced back from the Notre Dame loss. They hammered Arizona 49-31 last week. True freshman Jaden Ott got the best grade that Pro Football Focus has ever given a running back since they started grading running back film in 2014. Not only did he have 274 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns on merely 19 attempts against Arizona last week, but he also had 111 rushing yards after contact. Quarterback Jack Plummer threw for 245 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. I'm of the belief that if that offside call didn't happen, Cal would be 4-0, and their non-cover against UNLV is looking better by the day as UNLV is now 3-1 and looks to have its best team in more than a decade. So I'll go Cal plus 4 at Wazoo.
All right. So far, just to give you a rundown again, Brian Edwards, follow him on Twitter at Vegas B. Edwards. Kentucky plus the 7, Arkansas plus the 17.5. Baylor is the one thing you sent me. Baylor's -2, but you said Baylor's currently -1 at the Circus Sportsbook. So maybe you keep an eye on that and you look around to see if you get a better line than -2. As he just mentioned there, Cal plus the 4. A pair of over-unders here on your scorecard for the weekend. Nebraska and Indiana. You like the over 60, and also UAB at Rice over 51. Give us the 2 over-unders here that you like.
Yeah, I like the over on both of these. Now, if you're betting totals this week, especially in the Southeast, make sure you check your weather. But I've checked the weather in Lincoln, Nebraska, and Houston this weekend. The weather is going to be fine. The over has hit in 3 straight for Indiana. The last 2 combined scores of 69 and 63. Out of 131 FBS teams, Indiana's ranked number 114 in pass defense, number 108 in total defense. Nebraska's games have averaged combined scores of 66 points per game. They're ranked 128 in total defense, 127 in run defense, 115 at defending the pass, and 114 in scoring defense. We've got 2 bad defenses here. Let's go over 60 with Indiana and Nebraska. And then with UAB and Rice, the over is 4-0 for Rice. They've had combined scores of 54, 62, 61, and 80. And they rank 102 nationally in stopping the run, whereas UAB is 6th in the nation in rushing yards. I think UAB is going to run it down Rice's throat. UAB averages 36 points per game. Rice is actually scoring a lot of points for its standards this year as well, 31.5 points per game. Let's go over 51 UAB at Rice.
Kind of I don't want to say it's not an under the radar play. It's just if you get into watching TV and watching games, this is not one that I think you anticipate watching this weekend. But one final college play, New Mexico State is taking on Florida International this weekend. New Mexico State, I believe Aggies. I think they're the Aggies. They're minus 14.5, but you've got what are they?
You're right. They're the Aggies.
Yes, New Mexico's the Lobos. I knew I could get that right. There we go. Good job, Gunner. Way to get something right. 14.5 is the line. You like the hook there, though.
Yeah, let's buy the key number of 14. All we're doing here is fading FIU. They're 0-3 against the spread. They're probably the worst team in the country. They lost 73-0 at Western Kentucky last week. Before that, they lost 41-12 at Texas State, and Texas State is awful. One of the worst teams in the Sun Belt. FIU is worst in the country in scoring defense. They give up 50.3 points per game. New Mexico State's feeling good about itself. They beat Hawaii, another one of the worst teams in the country, but they beat them 45-26 last week. They should have beaten Nevada in week 1, and they only lost by 7 at UTEP, and UTEP blew Boise State out last week in El Paso. And New Mexico State only lost 20-13 as 17-point underdogs a few weeks back at UTEP. So let's go against FIU with New Mexico State minus 14 by that half point if you need to.
2 NFL games to keep an eye on this weekend. Texans and Chargers. You like the Texans? Browns, Falcons over. Give us the background on those 2 games.
Yeah, man, the Chargers are just super banged up. Their Pro Bowl center, Corey Linsley, missed last week's game. He's very iffy this week, as is Pro Bowl wide receiver Keenan Allen. Pro Bowl defensive end Joey Bosa is out. Pro Bowl offensive tackle Rashawn Slater is out for the year. Justin Herbert has got a super painful injury to his ribs. He's got fractured cartilage. If you've ever had bad rib injuries, there's nothing worse. There's nothing you can do to make it better other than getting a pain-killing injection, which he might be getting, but it didn't help last week as they lost 38-10 to the Jags. So Houston has played all 3 games close, gave up a big lead, ended up tying the Colts, lost by 7 at Denver. We're in a tie game in the last 2 minutes last week, threw an interception, ended up losing by 3, but they're back at home now. Let's go Texans +5. And then on the Falcons and Browns, I actually played it at 49.5 yesterday. It's gone down to 48. I like the over. The over is 3-0 for the Falcons. Combined scores of 53, 58, and 50. The over is also 3-0 for Cleveland with its combined scores 50, 61, and actually only 46, which would be an under this week. But let's go over 48 on Cleveland and Atlanta. The Browns are number 1 in the NFL in rushing yards, and the Falcons are not great at stopping the run. Over 48, Cleveland and Atlanta. Weather not a factor indoors, obviously.
He is Brian Edwards, joins us each and every Thursday to give the rundown of the games for the weekend. This weekend, Kentucky +7, Arkansas +17.5, Baylor -2, Cal +4. I do like that Cal play. Indiana and Nebraska over 60, New Mexico State -14 against FIU, and he also had UAB and Rice over 51. I did not write that down on my sheet here for some reason. And then in the NFL, the Texans +5 and the Browns Falcons over the 48. Brian, we wish you nothing but the best of luck, and we enjoy having you here each and every week. Look forward to talking with you next week.
Thanks, brother. Have a great weekend, man.
You too. Take care. That's Brian Edwards. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Vegas B Edwards. There we go. We got it all out correctly.
Well done.
Thank you. Yes, you would think, even though it's sitting right in front of me, reading can be difficult. Vegas B Edwards on Twitter. Make sure you check him out at majorwager.com as well. Come back. We will look back over those, talk a few other South Carolina State notes for tonight, and get you ready as we count down South Carolina State, 7 p.m. tonight at Williams-Brice Stadium.
It's our 15th anniversary, and without you, Columbia, this might be a polka station by now. Our 15th anniversary celebration is sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, getting you better sooner.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Hard to have a barrel of fun if your house is a little dirty. If the carpets, the rugs, the tile, the upholstery, if they're not all insanely clean, having a barrel of fun, it's not quite that great. People start to comment on your carpet. They talk about the stains on your rugs. They talk about your upholstery. Don't let that happen. Have a barrel of fun. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Get them out to your house for one of their fantastic cleanings with their patented ZR water technology. It leaves no residue, no soapy residue behind. Your house is going to look fantastic, and you, my good friend, are going to have a barrel of fun. Take advantage of their fall sale going on right now. 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119. You just need to remember to mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. Again, you can call them 803-262-4020, or you can schedule with ease online, zerorescolumbia.com. Again, it is the patented ZR water technology that stands out and what makes Zero Res the best in the business. Trust me, they have over 1,800 Google reviews and a 4.9 star rating. There's a reason they're the most highly reviewed cleaning company in the Midlands. So don't wait any longer. Take advantage of the fall sale going on right now. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119. You just need to mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. So give him a phone call, 803-262-4020, or schedule with these online, zerorescolumbia.com. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
And taking a look at the traffic conditions out there this morning, they're kind of stacked up. Augusta Highway or Highway 1 at Clemson Road, we have an accident. Also, you'll find one Paget Road near Carlo Drive. Clemson Road at Hardscrabble. I-20 eastbound after Highway 1 and at Highway 378. Incidences in both of those locations. Working earlier accident, Industrial Drive at South Lake Drive. Sherwood Drive at Long Pond Road, we have an accident there. And Broad River Road at Hennerly Road, an accident. Going to be windy today, that's for sure. We are under that tropical storm watch. Windy and cool, high of 69. Rain due in overnight. It's sounding like as of right now. Of course, those heavy winds, gusts could be up to 55 or 60 miles an hour tomorrow. High of 61. And then Saturday, windy, scattered showers, primarily in the morning. Getting back up to about 72. Right now, though, it's windy and 62 at 107.5 The Game.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, dirt, and germs, and it's why nose cleaning is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they also find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Nearly 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7. Best product I've ever used, and amazing. I love my Navage. That's because Navage helps you breathe better.
All right.
The biggest payoff is improved health. Here's the key point: Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthy. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and Prime. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
One search engine is used by 9 out of 10 consumers. Hint, the name begins with a G. And there are hundreds of things that go into being ranked highly by that G. Your website, your business profile, even your social accounts. A couple of slip-ups can you find yourself on these pages. But at Cumulus Vision, we have the
Yep. Makes his picks for the weekend. Didn't he just? I would just say, yeah, his college and NFL games because he did. Yep.
No subscriptions or monthly fees
Kind
necessary.
of I thought it was good for him. We'll have a short segment giveaway. What's the final? Any idea what the final one is? Yeah.
Don't let radio go silent. Text local to 52886 and tell Congress to protect local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Used car is that dog. It's worth more. Herndon Chevrolet needs your trade. We'll buy your 5.5.
To prove it, we're willing to beat any written offer by $500. That's right. We'll beat any written offer by $500.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm happy that they're long breaks, but my God, 5.5 is 5.5 is long. I mean, that's a long. I mean, all right. Well, I'll come back. This will be about 2 minutes then. Okay, we'll do that and give the tickets away.
Make room for these new regulations. No deals will be turned down. Plus, get a 15-year park and labor warranty guaranteed financing. Anyone can get a brand new HVAC system as soon as tomorrow. That's triple X in the air at 803-677-1522. What QC Kinetics is doing for people here is nothing short of amazing. I'm talking real lasting relief from joint pain. Hey, it's Bill Gunner, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in exciting new pain treatments with advanced regenerative medicine, non-surgical alternatives. If you're living with joint pain from an injury or arthritis, don't let them tell you steroids, pain medications, and surgery are your only option. QC Kinetics uses regenerative treatments that can restore and repair damaged tissue. Maybe you've been diagnosed with bone-on-bone arthritis and been told you need a replacement. Call QC Kinetics today for an alternative with work with pain caused by injury as well as torn meniscus or rotator. Call QC Kinetics now, 803-281-6860. Don't keep living with that. Regenerative medicine can give no drugs. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. 803-281-6860. That's again 803-281-6860.
What we're talking about on 107.5
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
8:42 on your Thursday morning, a game day Thursday morning. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we'll be joined by Carrie Tharp of Darlington Raceway. We are into, I should say, the round of 12 at the current moment. They will be in Talladega on Sunday, 2 p.m. on NBC. We'll get some picks there from myself and Jen, and I'm sure Reggie Anderson will legally send in a pick at some point. Boy, am I not having a good year with that.
And it's what the year should actually be like for you.
It's injury plagued 2022 season is what we're going to label this one.
Or just bad picks.
Injury plagued. Tonight, I'll go ahead and give my pick. I think South Carolina's going to run the ball effectively. I think that what you're going to see here is South Carolina, I don't want to say call the dogs off, but I think you start getting the backups in, and then what we kind of have happen is a situation where it gets a little sloppy late. Hard to see a whole lot kicking of the kicking game tonight. So I'm not going to go with any field goals. I'll call it 42-14. That's a 28-point victory. That's 56 points. That does go over the total, but also does not cover the point spread there. I'll go 42-14. Maybe South Carolina gets a special teams touchdown or something where they don't score 40 points offensively, but I'll call it 42-14. I do think Marshawn Lloyd has another big night, and this might be the night where Christian Bill Smith also carries the football effectively and uses power and a little bit more of a bruising skill to carry the football team. So 42-14 tonight. That's where I'm going to go with the score. A 28-point cover or a 28-point win for the Gamecocks would not cover the 37.5 point to 39.5 point spread that Vegas has put on the game tonight. The Bengals and the Dolphins tonight. That should be a really good one. Quite frankly, if you're sitting at home tonight, that one should be really, really good. I'd encourage you to kind of flip back and forth. The game will be on Amazon Prime, but should be very entertaining. Joe Burrow versus Tua, a rematch of a very fun game there in college between Alabama and LSU. So if you're sitting at home, you got two football games. If you want to go to the football game, we've got is it a pair of tickets, Jen?
We have a pair of tickets to give away, an extra bonus.
An extra bonus pair of tickets right now. It's the Carolina Honda Powerhouse Ticket Giveaway. We've got two tickets for you. 803-404-6100 is how you can win those. Carolina Honda Powerhouse, your source for Honda Power Sports. Visit carolinahonda.com. 803-404-6100 right now for a pair of tickets.
And what color are we looking for?
4.
caller 4.
I have to do everything around here. 4.
I know. I just want to be caller 4. And I had to arm wrestle Josh for those tickets.
Okay.
Okay. So, and
Caller
we have them. So I won.
4.
Call now to win Gamecocks tickets right here. 803-404-6100. Sponsored by Carolina Honda Powerhouse, your source for Honda power sports, ATVs, motorcycles, side-by-sides, and generators. From your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
We have a couple injury accidents to let you know about. Augusta Highway at Clemson Road. That's Highway 1 at Clemson Road. Also Paget Road near Carlo Drive. Also have an accident Clemson Road at Hardscrabble. Still working 2 accidents on I-20 eastbound. One after Highway 1 and one at Highway 378. Report of an accident Pisgah Church Road at Highway 1. Sherwood Drive at Longs Pond Road. Broad River Road at Kennerly. An accident as well. Under a tropical storm watch, windy and cool today, high of 69. Looks like the rain should be coming in at this point in the overnight hours, and then heavy rains tomorrow at times, heavy winds, a high of 61. Right now, windy and 61 at 107.5 The Game.
Fall, find everything you love listening to on Audible. From memoirs and true crime to celebrities and sci-fi, Audible is the home of storytelling, audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
If you have tax problems and want to end the frustration of dealing with the IRS, grab a pen and take down this number. Hi, I'm local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm, located right here in the Midlands. Let us show you what it takes to solve your tax problems once and for all. The first step, which can be one of the hardest, is to take action. Do something. Call me, set an appointment, and meet with me in person. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll show you how to take control of the problem. So if you haven't filed your tax returns for years or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, John Ecton, at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to Ecton Law Firm. ECTON.
Alrighty. Let's see here. What a
If you're living with joint pain from an injury or arthritis, don't let them tell you steroids, pain medications, and surgery are your only options. QC Kinetics uses regenerative treatment that will restore and repair damage tissue. Bone-on-bone arthritis and been told you need replacement, call QC Kinetics today for an alternative way to deal with the pain. These amazing protocols work with pain caused by injury as well as meniscus or rotator. Call QC Kinetics now, 803-281-6860. Don't keep living with that pain. Learn how regenerative medicine can give you your life back with no drugs and no surgery. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. 803-281-6860. That's again 803-281-6860. Football season is upon us, and there's nothing better than watching your favorite team with company in a clean home. With over 1,800 Google reviews and a 4.9 star rating, 0 rating. Air Dust Cleaning is the most highly reviewed cleaning company in the Midlands. Their patented no residue cleaning system gets your carpets, rugs, and upholstery insanely clean. Take advantage of the fall sale going on now. Get 3 months of carpet control, $119 from Mission Me. Feel better. 107.5 The Game. Easily schedule your cleaning online at ZeroColumbia.com.
This football season, and every football season, come to campus and catch a game. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game. Find your tickets online at GamecocksOnline.com.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. Stop by, shop online today, and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
With Bill Gunter and Shannon Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks.
The early game, 107.5
The Game.
Final segment of the program, a game day Thursday as we get you ready. Carrie, were you around? I don't want to date you, but were you around, what was it, 91, 92? I'm trying to think. South Carolina played West Virginia after Thanksgiving on a Thursday night. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We won that ball game. It was I think they might have had, I think Major Harris had actually already left them, but I remember several Thursday night games. We played Kentucky there one year in a Thursday night game at Williams-Brice, and I think we actually lost that ball game. But I do remember several Thursday night. Actually, the one that sticks out in my mind is not a Thursday night game, but it was a post-hurricane game. It was in '89 when Hugo came through, ravaging the state, I think like on a Wednesday night late into Thursday. And, lo and behold, we played a college football game Saturday night under the lights at Williams-Brice against Georgia Tech, and actually won that ball game. But, that was the one that probably sticks out in my mind when you're looking at, storms and things of that nature.
Yeah, it's I only remember you're right. I've heard about that Georgia Tech game, but I have no like recollection of it. The West Virginia game, I remember real quick before we go to NASCAR. Do you remember how that West Virginia game came about? Why it was the Thursday night? Was that an ESPN deal where they decided it? Was it? I know it wasn't because of the storm.
Yeah, it was an ESPN game. I don't think it was rescheduled by any stretch. It was a regular scheduled game. Thursday night, late game. It was, very well attended, and it was a good game, if I recall. I want to say, I can't remember the exact score, but I want to say that we won that ball game. But yeah, it was a Thursday night, late season ball game.
All right, well, let's move on to the NASCAR playoffs last week. All right,
Ooh,
none of us, huh?
It was a mess with all of the tire issues. I mean, you had, what was it, 3 leaders that were, they were leading and then they're out because of a blown tire.
It's been look, Carrie, Jen, y'all. Again, I'm not going to sit here. I'll joke when you're finishing, when you're third right now. I can't brag about my guru status on this, but to I guess to the point, it's been an odd playoffs because what is it now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 4? Am I right on this? 4. All 4 that have won a race are not in the playoffs. Am I right on that?
You are.
Yeah. Okay.
Tyler Reddick was originally in the playoffs in the field of 16, but he had been eliminated. So technically, when he won at Texas, he was not a playoff driver. So, yeah, you're right. And it's very odd. I don't think you're going to see that happen again anytime soon. But, yeah, certainly we have not yet seen a driver who is eligible for the championship win a playoff race. And, are we going to continue to see that? Who knows? I mean, we're going to Talladega, and that's always a crapshoot. So, we could have 5 in a row here come Sunday.
Mm-hmm. You could actually see, Ricky Stenhouse do well. He actually does well at a lot of those late tracks. So, yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of anger on social media from, some of the veterans like Harvick and Hamlin and just complaints about the tires. But it seems like maybe the teams that aren't running as hard and aren't testing them to putting the tires to the limits seem to be doing okay, but you shouldn't have to sacrifice that either. So I think the off season is certainly going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Goodyear's got a tough job as it is.
They do.
With this new car, it's kind of a different dynamic with the way that the car is set up. It's so low to the ground, and there's a lot of what they call load on the tires. And the racing at Texas was not what you would want to see with the tire failures and then just not a great race overall. So I know Goodyear went back to Akron, Ohio, their headquarters, and was addressing that early in the week. And certainly NASCAR will do the same thing. And, a lot of it is these teams really push the limits on the tire pressure. And when you have a real low tire pressure like that, it does get you around the corners a little quicker, but it also causes the tires to fail more likely than if you use the recommended pressures that Goodyear provides.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna surprise y'all this morning here. I'm going to cite who I am. This is some of my research, but this is from actionnetwork.com. All right. Which driver has the best average running position among the 3 races at Talladega and Daytona this year? Which driver has the best average running position? Can either of you two name that?
Oh gosh, I may go with Bubba Wallace.
You know, that's funny. That name popped up to me. Maybe Reddick?
Eric Jones is the answer I'm looking for. Eric Jones has been the
Wow, I wouldn't have known that one.
best driver at super speedways this year, has the best average running time. He also has the 3rd most laps led, as well as the 2nd best driver rating in those races. He's the only driver to appear in the top 3 in all 3 of those categories. Martin Truex Jr. appears in 2 of the 3 categories. All right. So there, I'm giving you a stat. I mean, it's Action Network, actionnetwork.com. You like that one? All right. Who we got? Where are you going here with this one, Kerry?
Well, I tell you, I'm going to go with a guy who's a really good what they call plate racer, a guy that has won down there at Talladega before, and I'm going to go with Joey Logano. I think he gets the checker flag on Sunday.
Okay,
that's a good call. Somebody else who has done fairly well, and especially at Talladega, I'm going to try. It seems like he's been snake bit a lot, but I'm going to say Ryan Blaney.
Wow. Okay.
You know, that's probably not going to bode me well for me.
This is the portion of the program where I gave that stat so that Jen and Carrie could pick Eric Jones, and then I could complain about the fact that I didn't get to pick my driver.
I wonder if that's kind of how that was going to play out, my friend.
And then next week I could whine and say I helped them pick the winner, unless I picked my guy, Denny Hamlin. You know what? At this point, yeah.
There you go.
I wanted to. It doesn't appear I can come back and win this way. So the way to win was to give you a stat on who I think should win, only to pick the driver. That way, I've got 2 drivers that I could say I picked to win.
We're pretty smart, though.
I was ready.
You're outmatched in a wits contest.
Give me Denny Hamlin there, Carrie. We appreciate you each and every week. Hope you're safe, buddy.
Yeah,
hope you're safe down there,
definitely.
and look forward to catching up with
you
you
all
next
do
week.
the same, okay?
Right.
You too.
Thank you, Carrie.
Take care.
Thank you.
Couldn't trick him. I thought if I gave him the stat, they would take Eric Jones for me, and then I would get Hamlin, and I'd have.
We're not only good looking, but we're very wise.
Y'all very good. We are the best looking program on this radio station. We'll continue to be that way tomorrow morning. Hope you have a great game day. You've been listening to Jen Jensen, Bill Gunner. It's the early game. 107.5 The Game.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
Hey, if you got a hole in your roof or you need a whole new roof, you need to call Midstate Roofing. 356-19.
All right, everybody. It's game day.
And I meant to say it on the air, and I did not get that done. But I did put it out on Twitter. There was a call asking that people do not use tents. It seems like a common sense thing, but if you're tailgating, do not put up a tent.
Yeah, you would think that would be the wise thing today, but we'll find out. We'll keep you updated from the game with tents. So if York is still out there already tailgating, get your tent down. Don't let it blow into someone's car.
We don't want to be embarrassed.
That's right. All right, we'll see everybody in the morning for a recap. Y'all have
Sounds okay.
a great.
Be safe, everybody.
That's right. Be safe, yeah.
Here.